today's meeting to order. It's the June 25th, 2025 meeting of the Riel Community Committee. My name is Brian Mays. I'm the City Councilor for St. Vital Ward. I'll be chairing today's meeting in the absence of Councillor Allard, joined in the chamber here today by Councillor Chambers from the St. Norbert St. River Ward, as well as a number of city staff. I'll do the land and water acknowledgement first, and then we can move on to the agenda, fairly lengthy agenda today, and I think we have a number of delegations. So I'd like to acknowledge that we are in Treaty 1 territory, the home and traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Innu, and Dakota peoples, and in the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Our drinking water comes from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation in Treaty 3 territory. So I think Councillor Chambers and I would both like to be at the Dakota Collegiate graduation, but here we are doing our due diligence with the Riel Community Committee. So congratulations to various Dakota and Glenlawn students who are graduating today and tomorrow. No, today's Glenlawn, tomorrow's Dakota. That's why we have council tomorrow. Mr. Clerk, we have
just a motion to pass the minutes from the last.
Councillor Chambers moves to approve the minutes of the last meeting. All those in favor? Aye. That's passed. Thank you. So we'll have, guess we'll have delegations first. There's at least one item of new business. I've got a grant I want to jam in at number 9. So hopefully we can remember that when the time comes. So on to delegations.
Okay, right. So first up for a delegation, we have Jackie Wilkie speaking on the plan approval for 600 de la Signorie Boulevard, and she'll be in person.
Good morning. There are 3 of us that are going to speak on the one item. We were wondering if we can adjust our order and just present as we go along here, if that's okay?
Sure.
Okay. So if Loren can have the ability to present online, and we'll have Jen Star in to start us off. We also have our presentation in hard copy for everyone because we weren't able to. That's okay, I'll do that. You gotta be there.
All right, well, I'll get started. And is Loren online?
I just admitted her into the meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't need the presentation for my portion, but it'll flow right into her.
We need a motion for.
Sorry, a lot of
I think we need
confusion
a
in
motion
the
for
range.
Just a motion for the submission, suspension for the submission.
Okay, so we'll have a motion then from Councillor Chambers, if you would, to hear the submission. All those in favor? Aye. That's carried. And which one is this again?
Thank you.
Please?
So this is item 9. This is a plan approval. I believe it's item 9 in your reports for De La Seigneurie.
Yep.
Yeah, perfect. So good morning, councillors and committee. Thank you for having us here today. My name is Brock. I'm with GenStar. I'm a senior development manager, and I'm also a registered professional planner. So on behalf of GenStar, I'll be providing a high-level presentation of the proposed project, and then I'll hand it over to the architect and landscape architect to speak to the details. So the proposed development is a 156-unit, 4-story purpose-built rental building located on a 3.43-acre site in the Bonavista community. Bonavista has been one of the most popular and top permitting new communities in the city and is almost fully built out. The community includes a mix of housing types from single family to multifamily, providing a number of residential living opportunities in both use and tenure. The proposed building adds to the already diverse housing types in the community with a mix of unit types, along with access to multiple modes of transportation and recreation. We took careful consideration to ensure the building aesthetics and design complement the architectural features of the master plan community. And this plan approval marks a significant step in our project to provide jobs and housing for the city of Winnipeg. And I want to thank the administration for their support of this project and concur with their supporting remarks. We've been working closely with professionals from Number 10 Architectural Group and McCowan Russell Group, who will provide more detail about the project. Thank you.
For clarity, it's listed as being between, the map's a bit misleading. It's not really between Ward and Crestmont. It's between, because Crestmont changes.
Yeah, and Loren will have she'll point it out on a map in the next step here, but there's a multifamily on the corner there, and Yeah.
second
block in, I don't know what the next street over is, but,
That's my point, is
yeah.
it's on the west side of the street,
Correct.
and Crestmont is on the east side of the street. So the
Correct.
statement that it's between Ward and Crestmont is,
It's just that that's the next cross street, that's all. But there is no cross street below. So we're going to move to Loren for her portion of the presentation, and she'll just go through the,
just,
A little more detail about the location.
Good morning. Is the presentation displaying properly and do you hear me?
yes.
Go ahead.
Perfect. Good morning, I'm Laurent Bachan. I'm an associate architect at Number 10 Architectural Group. So following up on Brock's introduction, our presentation will be divided into two sections. I'll start with the architectural presentation by doing a brief overview of the site context and walking you through the building floor plans and the proposed massing and the materiality. Then Jackie Wilkie, that's next to you, from McGowan Russell, will dive in the site development, including the setback and the landscaping regulation. We're not seeking variances for this development. She will present to you the parking management plan and the alternative equivalent compliance for the waste management solution that we're proposing for this site. The site is located to almost to the corner of Ward Avenue and Boulevard de la Seigneurie. The lot is 3.4 acres. It's zone RMFM, and it's currently vacant. It's bordered by an existing wood fence on the northwest and the southeast sides, if you see my cursor. And there's an open steel fence on the southwest side next to the public reserve. All existing fences will be kept in place. The adjacent properties are a 5-story multifamily development on the northwest, multiple single-family development on the southeast, the public reserve pond on the southwest, and the Boulevard de la Seigneurie on the northeast. The implantation of the building was carefully chosen to respond to these adjacencies. We used the surface parking to our advantage to distance the building from the single-family lots. The 4-story T-shaped building also allowed us to limit shadows and provide as much privacy buffer as possible from the adjacent buildings on both sides. So both from the existing 5-story building and also from the single-family homes. Jackie will discuss the pedestrian circulation more in depth. I wanted to point out to you the multiple points of entry on this building for the users, but most importantly, the secondary one in blue that is facing the Boulevard de la Seigneurie that I'm pointing at. We met with the city planner, Devin Clark, on a few occasions during the design process. One of his recommendations was to add this entrance to activate the facade. It does animate the facade, but it also provides a clear path to the residents from the elevator lobby directly to the future bus station that will be on Ward Avenue. So we think that's a very great addition to the project. There's a single point of access for cars on the northeast side of the property. You can also see with the orange arrow that we have a central access ramp leading to an underground parkade. The ramp was centrally located to break the surface parking into two smaller areas and create a landscape feature in the center of the development. The floor plan is simple. It's a double loaded corridor with the main entrance located in the center of the T, with the elevator lobby and the amenities. There's a total of 156 homes that are provided with a mix of 1, 2, and 3 bedroom apartments. The building is rich in amenities. At the main floor in the center, there's a lounge that welcomes the residents and their visitors who can use a flexible event space here for birthday parties, for example, or working from home, just like me. That space opens into an outdoor amenity area that Jackie will present to you a bit later. There's a secure bike room that opens directly into the elevator lobby, and you can see that direct entry point that I pointed out to you a bit earlier. There's also a leasing office space, mail room, and a secured parcel room that opens into that lobby. There's a fitness room on the second floor for the residents. Below, there's an underground parkade that includes 101 stalls. It's secured and heated, and it also includes an enclosed bike storage. Jackie will detail the project stall count and the overall bike count in the parking management plan after me. The building is contemporary to respond to the Bonavista neighborhood aesthetic. On this view from the Boulevard de la Seigneurie, you can see the secondary entrance that invites the residents in. This is a second view from Boulevard de la Seigneurie. We use the balcony privacy dividers on the floor plan and the floor plan itself to create the articulations of the building and break the long facades. The building next door that you would see here is a 5-story with a slope roof. We are proposing a 4-story with a flat roof to minimize the impact of the building height on the adjacent single-family lots.
Move extension 2 minutes.
The right side of this view here,
Approved.
so
So you
this,
have 2 additional minutes, and then we'll turn to the other
Thank you.
presenters.
oh, thank you, I appreciate this. The right side of this view here faces the single-family lots. After discussions with the planner, we reoriented the balconies here to ensure that only bedroom windows are located on the south heat facade to increase the privacy for both our residents and their neighbors. So it just makes sense to us. So we made also that change to all the
those are
corners of the
facing-
building.
so
So that
those are
change was also,
facing- So those are facing Lucerne, right? The single-family street you're discussing is not Crestmont, it is Lucerne, right? Because it's west of the intersection.
It faces the park.
that's the single family on the east side of our property. I would have to, Jackie, can you confirm that?
I withdraw the question, carry on. Let's go.
Okay.
Carry on.
Oh,
Are you done?
Sorry, yes, for the materiality, so what I call the backdrop of the building, that's a white horizontal lap siding. So to bring warmth to the building, the accent areas here have a light wood tone vertical siding. The base at the main floor is a masonry veneer to ensure durability. The entrance are signaled with a dark metal cladding. Each home has a generous private cantilevered balcony accessible by a patio door. I just want to thank the council for your time and thank the district planner, Devin Clark, for the collaborative process on this project. Thank you.
Thank you, councillors. Apologies. If we can go to the next one. Looking at the site design, the plan is to meet all requirements for landscape and yards within the site. Our setback for the building is actually angled slightly, so we are beyond our required setback in the front yard at one end and meet it at the south end. Councillor Mays, you're correct, to the southish side of the
Is a good term.
southish side of the development is the Lucerne Bay. On that side, we have an existing wood screen fence and additional landscaping for buffering on that side as well. So we're meeting all of those requirements. For the pedestrian access to the site, we have the sidewalk that comes up to the main door facing the street, as well as a sidewalk that comes along the approach for the vehicle approach, and has 2 options, one going to the building and another going through the parking lot to allow for better flow through the site all the way to the park on the we'll call it westish side, and an access through a new gate that will be put into the metal fence along that edge. The north side, as we stated, has an existing wood screen fence that will also remain. On the site, if we can go to the next one.
Just before you leave that, so the folks on Lucerne, a vocal group, they've got properties which we're not rezoning. They knew what was coming. B, that's about as far setback as you could get.
Yeah, we're meeting our required setback there for landscaping and also providing all the required trees. We've also broken up the parking, so you can see that we have an island of landscaping right opposite the parking garage exit so that we're providing additional screening for any lights that would be coming out that direction.
Okay, thank you.
Now we can go on to the next one. We are asking for an alternative equivalent compliance for the garbage. Rather than having an enclosure in the center of the parking area, we're asking for in-ground bins without a fence. This allows for better cleanup of garbage that may be spilling or that may be flying around on site, as can happen, but it does provide better containment because the garbage is underground and will be contained within a lidded container. The number and angle of all of the bins are as per water and waste requirements for pickup, and we're able to accommodate the trucks to come in and do the pickup head-on.
And Mr. Clark, the staff, I mean, there are alternative equivalent, certain sections of the zoning bylaw, you can do that. This is, or is this water and waste call or public?
No, garbage enclosures fall within that alternative equivalency compliance. Yeah.
Yes, the equivalency compliance is so that we don't have to have a wood screen fence around the enclosure and have the gates that always end up becoming an issue. And also always having to have it as wood to meet the requirement of the City of Winnipeg bylaw, which is not very durable. If we can go to the next slide. As discussed, we have a patio for the tenant's use on the north-ish side of the building. This will include a paved area in warm tones. We're looking at various materials right now, either colored concrete or paver edge, that type of material. We're still working through those detailed designs on that. We also have a pergola to add a sense of enclosure and space and comfort. And then screening to the adjacent balconies with landscape borders with trees and shrubs. And on to our next. So our parking management plan that we have submitted is requesting that we have 215 stalls for a parking ratio of 1.38 stalls per unit. This is supported through a parking management plan for assigned stalls, visitor stalls, and flex stalls, based on our understanding of the mix of tenancy that's expected for the site, as well as the proximity to transit, which will be outside the door on the new the new transit network. These buses will take us either to Sage Creek or to Southdale, which will give us access on frequent or frequent express routes to both the University of Winnipeg, St. Vital Centre, or downtown. So it provides that connection. We also have
In Manitoba.
Sorry, Manitoba. My apologies. University of Manitoba going the other direction. We also have direct connections to sidewalks and active transportation pathways directly off of the site. So we have a sidewalk that goes along the street, as well as the pathway off of the through the park. These connect up to Abinogi-Mickinaw, which has a major active transportation pathway, as well as pathways through Sage Creek that lead directly to the commercial. It's an approximately 15-minute walk to the commercial site from this location. We also have additional secured bicycle parking beyond what's required at 32 indoor parking spots, 32 additional indoor parking spaces.
You need any further time?
If I could, you know what? No, that was pretty much the end. Just thank you.
Okay.
And we just have the last image up so that you can see the plan again if you have any questions.
Okay, thank
And you
you.
can ask questions of any of us if you'd like.
Councillor Chambers.
Yeah, I've got a couple of questions. Just looking at the parking lot there from perspective of snow storage or snow removal. Which will it be?
We will have interim snow storage in spaces on the islands. We have spots that don't have trees, but it will be removed. It's not going to be stored all winter.
And going back to the underground parking, parkade plan,
Yes?
101 parking stalls. And looking at the plan, I only see one handicap parking stall, stall 29. Is that intentional, or are there more?
The rest of the accessible stalls are outside, directly adjacent to the front door, and they are a mix of visitor and assigned.
So there's only one underground heated,
One noted as accessible underground. The size of the stalls, though, are all, or almost all, of a size to allow them to be assigned for accessible. Most of them are over 10 feet wide.
yeah, but it's the proximity to the elevator
Okay,
that,
we can make that adjustment if that's something that's,
okay,
Thanks. Mr. Clark, a question for you. This would not count toward the city's intensification targets, I'm assuming, because we're on the south side of Ward. I think the dividing line between Greenfield and either all of Bonavista's out or part of Bonavista's out. I'm doing this from memory.
Take a look.
Which you should know is also coming at number 9 when we get there.
Yeah, I'll take a look. I'll get back to you on this one.
Sounds good. Thanks to representatives from your firm, or from Genstar. Mr. Brown's been very good about keeping me in the loop on this one. So whereas I might normally have questions, I feel I've seen this any number of times, frankly. So I don't really have a question. So it's good that you're buffering it a bit from Lucerne, because that's, I mean, that's the nature of the neighborhood, right? The multifamily comes right up to the single family, but that's the way it got designed, and that's the way it's been built. Seeing no further questions, thank you.
thank you very much.
Okay. Next up, we'll have Paige West and David Hill with respect to plan approval, 85 Burning Glass Road. That'll be report 10.
So it was number 10, and Devin, number 9, I'll have the same. All right, so this is for number 10. This is the plan approval for 85 Burning Glass Road.
Okay, David and Paige, are you there?
Are you there, David? Or Paige? Perhaps we can skip over that temporarily then. Are there other delegations?
Yes, next we'll have Ajit Balmarov in support of the Community Incentive Grant. I report 1, and he's going to be also on Zoom. Oh,
It's a race.
oh, sorry. Got David Hill just now.
Yeah, well, it's David and Paige are back when you're ready for us.
Okay, let's go ahead with that then, and we'll have
Ajit.
Ajit wait until after this. Correct. That was the original order. Okay, let's roll. Let's go ahead, please, David and Paige.
Yes, hi. We're here just to answer questions or address any concerns about our small development that we're planning. It's a residential townhome development on the corner of La France and Burning Glass. It's 24 moderately sized townhomes. They're back to back. It's on a property that's zoned C2, but we have a conditional use that we're applying for to have a residential development on the site. Our variances are concerning the setback, just so we align with the commercial buildings that are already on the site. We've reduced our setbacks, so we're just aligned with the adjacent buildings. And I think there's nothing too contentious about this. I don't think it being a commercial site, we think it's a good fit. These are moderately priced townhomes. I think it's a great addition to Sage. I don't know if there's anything like this product right now. They do offer an urban patio as an outdoor space. It's just a 6-foot wide, full-length, ground-level concrete patio that we've seen have been very successful in Bison Run for a street presence on La France and Burning Glass. So we're pretty excited about this. And as I say, Paige and I are mainly here just to address any concerns or questions that might come up.
Thank you. My questions will actually, I might as well knock them off now. Just a couple of questions for the administration around comments made on page 9 of this document. And I appreciate the administration worked with the developer to try and get this on for this agenda, given that we have a multi-month break until our next committee meeting. So I appreciate that. But I guess 2 questions for Mr. Clark. Number 1, the statement, the development will help achieve residential intensification targets. This actually doesn't count toward, I mean, we just had that whole fourplex thing where we were told, where it was described as infill. It's going into places like Sage Creek and, you know, Aurora and all these other places all over the city. So it's infill, but it actually doesn't count toward the infill targets. So, this would not count, this would count toward, despite the fact we're saying it'll help achieve intensification targets, it doesn't actually fall in the intensification area.
Fair point, Councillor. Yes, as you asked the question, I turned to Complete Communities 2.0. This neighborhood does actually fall outside of the intensification target area. It's technically in the Greenfield supply area. So I apologize for the error.
Fair enough. What about that other one? What about the Bonavista one? Did we get? I think that's green.
Bonavista also falls within the green, the De La Seigneurie.
Yeah.
That falls within the Greenfield as well.
All right, and then I have some concern, and I appreciate this was done with some urgency, so I'll probably amend this when we get to the actual report, but you can't really say it'll better utilize existing infrastructure, including city services such as library, recreation, and education, when it's being put in the Greenfield area. There isn't a city gym in my entire ward. It's my major quest this term to try and do one. Ironically enough, very close to that last building. And then there isn't a library for 5 miles from this site, I would bet. I would bet the closest library to this place is either Windsor Park or the one in Councillor Chambers' ward on Dakota, Louis Riel Library. So I'm not sure we're making better use of Windsor Park Library by adding a condo building or townhouses in Sage Creek. I mean, I appreciate it was written in some haste.
A fair point. Correct. It's not a specific intensification that would support libraries. It was a generic statement. So with apologies, it does state library, but it was intended to apply to just supporting existing amenities that are in place.
Okay, maybe we can work on, we used to have those, this will help restore failing school enrollment in the neighborhood schools every time we came to Glenwood, and I finally asked the planners, name the school. What's the enrollment? No idea. It's actually Glenwood School. It would have been an easy guess, frankly, but in any event, no, it's just textbook stuff we put in to say it'll help failing enrollment, even though we don't know what the enrollment is or even the name of the school. So luckily we've taken that out, so maybe we can think some more about this wording. Okay, Councillor Chambers, any further questions on Burning Glass Road?
No, I'm good.
Okay, I think that's it. Thank you, David and Paige.
Yeah, and we just want to express our appreciation for the help in expediting this. It was very important for a lot of our stakeholders to get this through. We very much appreciate everyone involved for expediting it.
Thank you.
Yeah, duly noted, and that does, to be fair to Mr. Clark here, that does, you know, generic wording was used to get this thing in front of us here today, and that's okay. All right. On we go then, Mr. Clerk.
Okay, right, so again, it's going to be Ajit Bamra for the Community Incentive Grant for Report 1, and I'll just ask him to turn on his camera and unmute, start the video. And we have an unknown phone number. Ajit, is that yours by chance?
Was Building Sustainable Communities the provincial one? Was that the
Good morning, councillors.
Building Sustainable Community?
Are you able to hear me?
From the ground up now.
Yeah. Hi, Mr. Barrett, Brian Mays here, so fire away.
If you're able to hear me,
Yes?
then I will begin.
Oh, sorry. Could you please turn on your video?
Turn on the video? Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not used to using this Zoom system, and I'm not able to turn on the video. However, let me try it.
Okay. I think you joined with a laptop. Yeah, there we go. Perfect.
Yeah, you can see me now.
Correct.
Okay, well, good morning, councilors, Councilor Mays and
Chambers.
all the councilors at committee today. And I just wanted to reiterate that we're in Councilor May's ward, and our own committee from Nonoxar wants to continue fostering ongoing patronage from the public and grow the community further for further inheritance from the aged to the young. We're all getting old, but we have a generation coming behind us. So we want to keep our building maintained and renovated from time to time. At this present time, or even since the last couple of years, we have been trying to renovate our washrooms, our kitchen, and some shower spaces right off our gym. And we're looking for funding, and we've applied for a CIG grant, which is before you, for the committee today, and we're asking your approval. Ordinarily, we would ask for 50%, but as you know, Brian Mays has offered to help out additionally, as well as our late friend Jason Schleier offered to give us $5,000, as well as Matt Allard, and so we're looking for additional counselors that are in our area, in Fattal, in Boniface, as well as Fort Richmond, and all those areas that are coming to Nonoxar. So we're all, we have an expanded reach, and we're looking for additional funding, about 15,000 more over and above the 50%. So we're hoping that you'll be able to help us out. And we like to continue doing good things for the public. We are a non-profit, and growing. We have new immigrants. We have existing citizens, all utilizing the facility. And they do need the barrier-free washrooms, barrier-free showers, and barrier-free kitchen space where there's more elbow room. And with those requirements, we professionally developed floor plans, and those have been approved by the City of Winnipeg. We do have a building permit that was issued about a month ago, or less than a month ago. We're all ready to proceed with the project, just waiting for funding. So this is where we're at this stage, where everything is finalized except for the remainder of the funding. We have raised some funding on our own, as well as a province has offered to. We have in reserve their funding for $37,500, and we're going to utilize all that funding to do our renovation project. if you have any additional questions, or if you have any questions, need to elaborate where the project is, I'll be happy to talk about it.
Okay, thank you. Just, can you clarify 2 or 3 funding questions? One was the Building Sustainable Communities, I think, is a former provincial program. So you got approval for 37,500?
500.
So, and that's, you physically have that, you've got that somewhere?
Yes, Brian. Yes, Brian. We do have that. We have that physically reserved. This was granted to us before the project, before the funding was changed from building sustainable communities. Currently, it's being called Ground Up.
Yeah, okay.
So this was granted to us previously, and we've held on to those funds in reserve to utilize the renovations.
And the next line on the application just has the initial CP, and then it's got confirmed, and it's got no. What's that about?
Well, that is that we haven't got. We did apply to Winnipeg Foundation for funding, and they haven't come through. We've also applied for funding from Seniors Horizon, and they haven't come through. So that's where the no comes.
Okay.
If those fundings were available, then I would list them. But we did make an effort. We did apply. We did presented a good, a good situation where our needs were clearly articulated, but unfortunately, those funding from those organizations haven't come through. But we are pleased that we do have a funding in reserve from the province of Manitoba.
Okay.
With that,
And Councillor, the late Councillor Schreier, I remember pledging some funds, but that hasn't been approved yet, right? That hasn't flowed? You don't have that in hand?
well, yeah, well, it hasn't flowed simply because we were waiting for building permit to come through, and we were going to speak to Jason, and only to learn that fortunately he's passed away.
Yes.
However, I have spoken to Chris Hurley, and he has advised me that that particular funding is available
Okay.
from the city.
All right. I may
as well as
I may
Mac
need to
has
just
done
lay
the
this
same.
over today because I feel like this has been years in the making and some grants have gone. Anyway, I will
Yes, exactly.
try and sort this
Yes.
out. Take a look at my records.
Okay, I appreciate that very much.
Councillor Chambers has a question.
Do you know if he mentioned the funding source, whether it was Community Incentive Grant Program or LDR? Do you recall if
It was
he referenced it?
It was the community incentive program, yes.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yes, Councillor Chambers. And thank you, Councillor Mays. Appreciate that.
Well, we'll try and, this,
Sort it out.
it's been a long time coming, so thank you for your
Yes,
persistence on
exactly.
it. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
And I have given some funding in the past, but it's been a while, certainly.
Yes,
So
that,
we'll sort-
it's been a while, yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
and we have appreciated all your help, and we're always making improvements to this community building. As you know, we did ramps a couple of years ago or last year. We got the occupancy permit for the ramps. So whatever we can do to help the community that has enabling challenges, we want to be there building code and to keep our building updated.
Okay,
So
Thank you.
Thank you for your considerations.
okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Appreciate it.
Any
Okay,
further?
bye.
That'll be the end of delegations.
Okay, so we're on to reports,
Correct.
and we're on to reports. Councilor Chambers going to hand you the chair for the first one.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to lay this one over. This is the one we were just discussing till our September meeting. This has been, I'm certainly not going to award the full amount. I feel I've pledged some amount in the past, an amount which I cannot remember as we sit here, and it's been a number of years, so, and it might not even have been for this project, but we'll do some research and try and come up with some answers on this one. We don't have to, I could approve this through delegated authority in theory. No, if it doesn't meet criteria,
No,
I
if it
can't.
meets criteria.
Okay.
It would have to get two-thirds vote of council. So first it would have to go to Standing Policy of Community Services, then it would have to go to council, then EBC, then council.
Although if it was less than 50%, then that could be delegated, one would assume, although the report doesn't.
Community services for number one, not water and waste?
Not what, for number one? No, it would be community services.
Because it's
Consolidate.
CIGA.
CIG, yeah.
Oh, I'm on the wrong agenda, sorry. My bad.
You're in water and waste agenda.
Yeah.
Okay,
sorry.
so number one, I'll move to lay over and we can sort this out.
Yep,
Okay.
so
the
moved.
chair. Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
Thank you. I'll take the chair back. Number two is over to your ward, Councilor Chambers.
Yeah, this is a community incentive grant to pay for the independent audit that was done at the Silverstone Arena. I had committed to getting to the bottom of any concerns that were raised by members of the public. And so this is the amount that I'm asking for out of CIGP funding.
Okay, and this one will have to work its way up.
Correct, yes.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
That's carried. Number three is actually in St. Boniface Ward, a plan approval. Any comments from the public administration on this one?
No comments. We're supportive of the addition and enhancement to the existing daycare on site.
I move approval of the public service recommendation.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, contrary, that's carried. This next one, we have, yeah, thanks. I wonder if I could ask the administration just to speak to number four. This is also in Bonavista, but in fact, you can see the other site on the aerial photo here. So this is sort of a continuation of what has been done on Evelyn Reese, but now we're south of Ward. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Any concerns with what's being proposed here?
No, it's just a series of 2- and 1-car garages being approved for all of the developments on that west side of Evelyn Reese. They provided elevations and site plans with dimensions for both options, and they appear to be no issues with what they provided.
So we're just doing a plan approval on garages?
Yeah, it's part of the original zoning agreement, I believe.
Okay, and these are servicing, maybe I misread this. So this is, what's it servicing then? Townhomes or?
Yeah, there's a series of multifamily buildings along that street, and so what they're proposing is individual garages for each of the units.
Okay. All right, thank you. I'll move approval of the submitted plans then.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
Now an
So,
uncharacteristic run of motions from me coming here.
so I still have the chair.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Number 5 is a response to some concerns from the Royalwood neighborhood associations and individuals in Royalwood about carving on, live trees, unauthorized carving in the Bois des Esprits. My thanks to Dave Domke from Parks for working with me to date on this, and he certainly welcomed the chance for Parks to weigh in and review the current practices and arrangements. So I guess this would go to
Community Services.
Community Services. All right, I will move then the motion found at number 5. We did have somebody writing in saying, well, you're only concerned about your own ward and their trees being damaged by encampments elsewhere in the city. Look, everyone, you're responsible for your own ward. It's no idea here that we don't care about trees downtown, and we do in the suburbs. So it's the charm of Roywood, frankly, lies in Bois des Esprits. So I don't want to see that undermined on my watch, so I will move the motion at number 5.
Thank you, Councillor Mays. I have a few comments for the public record as well. I was contacted by an area resident about the same issues in terms of tree carvings. This was more so deadwood trees that are lying on the ground, you know, to utilize them for either tree carvings or create benches for sharing circles or things like that. I reached out to Dave Domke and to Martha Berwinski as well. Martha's response to me, thanks for forwarding the residents' idea, lots to consider. Firstly, we would not allow the general public to fell trees and to cut up wood in the park, and typically the department does not clean up deadfall in natural areas. It is beneficial for the wood to decay naturally in forests because it supports an entirely different flora and fauna. The natural ecosystem becomes more diverse and supports the next generation of trees. Recently, wood carving has become quite controversial, and as probably you know, a motion is being brought forward at Riel's Community Committee. The subject is something we need to explore further and outline some options on how to address these kinds of requests. One option is to not allow carving on park lands. Urban Forestry and Natural Services will have a look at the forested area, especially related to reported dead standing trees near the pathway and how people are using the forest, and let you know our recommendations. So again, this is very timely. Thank you for the motion, Councillor Mays, and I'm willing to support it as well.
All right.
So I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you. Next up is traffic study on Evelyn Reese. This is timely because, as indicated a few minutes ago, transit is coming to the Bonavista neighborhood for the first time. So right along this stretch of Evelyn Reese, there are a couple of new transit stops. It would make a ton of sense to have some sort of crosswalk. So, and staff have actually just banned parking on one of these blocks because it's so narrow. So the staff are aware of what's going on here, to their credit. So I will move the traffic study on Evelyn Reese. Thank you to the clerk for helping draft this. Are we clear about, yes, okay, the green space between Ward and Evelyn Reese. Okay, so we're clear about where we're looking here. Good. Okay, so moved.
I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Item 7.
And lastly, a similar traffic study request for Des Mirons. There is a long stretch without stop signs, but that's sometimes not unusual in the city. So we'll get this, hopefully get some sort of review of what, whether we need another stop sign or some other traffic calming on that stretch, the southerly stretch of Des Mirons. So we did get, I think, somebody writing in talking about further north, right, that they're up into Councillor Allard's bit of Des Mirons. I don't have the jurisdiction to order any study there, but this is just between Blenheim and Regal, so so moved.
Yeah, thank you. And again, for the public record, when I saw this come out in media, again, I've traveled down there myself, and I've seen the excessive speeds that people can reach in a very quiet neighborhood. So again, I do support this.
That's just you.
All of those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I'll take the chair back for number 8. Public service, any comments here? as it's in Councillor Allard's ward.
Subdivision application came forward to subdivide the lot, maintain the existing single-family dwelling, and build a triplex on the new created lot. Water and Waste has indicated that there are servicing concerns with the increase in wastewater and that some public infrastructure will need to be modified or constructed in order to accommodate the triplex. So we are coming forward with requesting the authority to enter into an agreement with the proponent to improve the city services to accommodate the triplex.
Okay. Combined sewer area?
Combined sewer partially separated, so the land drainage flows to one pipe. The wastewater from the existing house flows to the combined sewer. So any flow from the new triplex can't be offset by rainwater.
Oh, okay. All right, any further questions?
Nope. I will move the public service recommendation to enter into the agreement.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary, that's carried.
Okay.
Awkwardly, we'll hand the chair back to you, Councillor Chambers. We can get through 9, 10, 11, I think, and then take a break before we start public hearings.
Absolutely.
Everyone okay with that? Okay, so number 9 is, this is the De La Signorie. Public service, any concerns about that one?
We're supportive of the plans, primarily with respect to the treatment they provided along the street edge, the setbacks that they accommodated to the single-family dwellings to the southeast on Lucerne Place, and that the 4-story building was in alignment with the secondary plan policies.
Sorry, Councillor, we need suspension of rules for addendum reports. My apologies.
I'll move suspension of the rules to consider the 3 addendum reports.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Good catch. Okay. Back to Mr.
So in general, yeah, the planning department is in support of this plan approval.
Okay. Yeah, and again, this is all of Bonavista outside the, it's all outside the.
Correct. The intensification target area, which indicates that a minimum of 50% of new housing should be contained within the intensification target area. And that so 50% of new housing can be considered outside of the intensification target area.
Well, we'll have to have this debate sometime when we turn to fourplexes, but today is not that day. So I'll move, is it as simple as just moving approval of the submitted plan? I'll move approval of the submitted plans.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
And if I can leave the chair with you, Councillor Chambers. So number 10 is the Sage Creek one, the Burning Glass Road one. I won't belabor the point and amend the motion to point out this also isn't intensification toward our intensification target. It's actually the reverse of that. It's in a greenfield. That said, it's good to intensify these neighborhoods that are, what was the phrasing we had about Sage Creek once? Not yet built up area or something, and it's like thousands and thousands of people there, 3 schools, like it's built up. So, but we've already belabored that point, and thank you to the staff for getting this ready on short order, because the whole project would have been delayed a year, I think. So, noting that concern, I'll move approval of the submitted plan subject to the condition that the plan approval shall not come into force and effect until the associated variance is confirmed.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
And everyone's favorite item, then, one of the asphaltic, we're indebted to Councillor Allard here, the asphaltic projects here. Mr. Kowalik, is this you? I think I'm in the chair again, because it's some of it's mine, some of it's Allard's. No?
Kenneth? You got
This is the
you,
wind trouble.
Bill, Horace, that's St. Boniface, but then you've got.
The other one's mine, yeah.
Yeah, St. Anne's.
All right, so this one's a bit out of the ordinary, right? This one being two, actually, there are two projects here, one St. Boniface Ward, one my ward. There is no, councilors are invoking their right to move forward here, right? So this will now be advertised, and there will be a period in which those in opposition can come forward.
So actually, the advertisement has already been completed, and there was only one objection received. So both projects are being recommended to proceed. So the bylaws are included. So this will go all the way to council for approval.
Obviously, I didn't read this as carefully as I should have. Thank you for that. That is important. Was the objection on the St. Boniface one? I think so.
I have to look. Yes, it was the St. Boniface one.
Okay. Well, we've heard nothing from Councillor Ellard to change momentum there. And the one in St. Vital, there was nobody registered in opposition, right?
Correct, yeah.
And it's just a north-south leg, right? It's
Yes, it's a very small
a very small.
lane there.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Okay.
And the water and waste part, city still covers the
Land
drainage.
drainage,
Yeah.
correct.
Okay, great. Thank you. Why don't I, do you want to move it? Do you want me to move it?
Yeah, I can move it.
Yeah, why
I
don't you
will move the public service recommendation.
All right, all those in favor? Aye. Contrary, that's carried. And new business item, I'll move to consider an item of new business.
All those in favor?
Aye,
Opposed,
thank you.
carried.
I'll allocate $200 for a tree planting initiative being put on by the Sage Creek Residents Association.
All those in favor?
Aye,
Opposed, carried.
thank you. Okay, so we then will take a 10-minute
Okay.
break.
Because we have to begin by 10:59.
Because we have to begin by 10:59. So we are into, or back into, as the case is for number one, the three public hearing items. We start with an item Councillor Chambers and I started with a couple of months ago, Courage Place, and then we're on to the two St. Boniface ones.
Yeah, so if I have a board meeting at noon, if we can just hear the one, break by, say, 11:50, and then reconvene at 1 o'clock.
Fine by me.
Okay?
Yeah.
As long as there's a recess. Yes.
Okay. All right, so we're recessed for 10 minutes or so.
Okay, sounds good.
Are we out?
Okay, we'll call today's meeting back to order. We're on to the public hearing aspects. Mr. Clerk, can you please take it away?
Of course. In accordance with the City of Winnipeg Charter and the Development Procedures Bylaw, the process the committee will follow is the applicant will be heard first, followed by those in support of the application. Next, those registered in opposition are heard, followed by those registered for information. Finally, the applicant may return to speak in rebuttal to comments made. However, no new information is permitted. Please note that when your name is called, it is your opportunity to speak. However, you are not obligated to do so. For a more in-depth overview of the public hearing process and other information pertaining to what happens before, during, and after a public hearing, please consult the City Clerk's Department website. Please note that all public hearings are recorded and will be part of the public record. Should you have any questions after the hearings have concluded, please contact the City Clerk's Department.
I would add, please note that at our most recent public hearing, which was a 4-day-long public hearing, council actually did vote to hear new information and only from one side on day 4 of the hearing, without a chance for any rebuttal or any new information provided by the other side. So I feel that we are operating under a new regime in the wake of that, but we'll see how that plays out today, because we can't have no new information for some hearings and new information allowed 4 days deep into other public hearings. So, in any event, we had opened on Courage Place 2 months ago, 3 months ago, I believe, and we're back again today with the same lineup, Councillor Chambers and myself. There are probably only 2 politicians in the building who know anything about Courage Place, but luckily it's the 2 of us. So away we go.
Okay. So as the chair has stated, item 1 is a zoning agreement amendment at 45 and 51 Courage Place under file ZAA 1/2025. So first, the planners I'll give it to the planners.
Mike on
Can't
this?
hear you.
Mike? Go ahead.
Good? Okay. ZAA 1/2025 is an application to amend a zoning agreement under file DASZ 6/1993 to remove Clause 2 in service of a proposed subdivision application. Subject lands are located on Courage Place, a cul-de-sac in the St. Vital Perimeter South neighborhood of the St. Norbert Seine River Ward. The subject sites are 51 Courage Place, 3.6 acres, currently occupied by a 2-story dwelling built in 1999 and an accessory structure, zoned RR2, Rural Residential 2 District, and the site is currently accessed by the unpaved Willow Grove Road, which is not allowed under the zoning agreement. There is one driveway leading to an accessory structure, quincettes, and the other to the dwelling. The second subject site is 45 Courage Place, is included as part of the proposed subdivision application. It's 2.6 acres in area, currently occupied by a 2-story dwelling built in 1998, zoned RR2 as well, and this site takes access from Courage Place. The sites fall within the Rural Agriculture Policy area of Complete Communities 2.0. And the sites are also within the St. Vital Perimeter South Secondary Plan area. The applicant is proposing to create 3 lots total from the 2 existing lots at 45 and 51 Courage Place through a DASSF short form subdivision application. One of the new proposed lots would have to take access from Willow Grove Road, as it would not have any access to Courage once subdivided. However, Clause 2 in the zoning agreement restricts development on the subject site as follows. With the exception of the public reserve, no vehicle approach shall be constructed or used connecting any part of the land to Willow Grove Road, and any existing such approach shall be closed up and removed upon demand by the city. Because of this clause, the zoning agreement amendment is required to proceed with the subdivision. This is the 3rd zoning agreement amendment application to remove Clause 2 affecting 51 Courage Place. The first was made in 1999. That application appears to have been made to address that the approach for 51 Courage Place was not constructed as indicated on the plans submitted with their permit application. Instead of taking access from Courage Place, they took access from Willow Grove. While this application was scheduled for a public meeting in November of 1999, it does not appear to have moved forward to a hearing. The second application for ZAA was made in 2009 and included an associated short-form subdivision application. The application was recommended for rejection by the Riel Community Committee, which stated in their decision, quote, "When the Courage Place subdivision was originally approved in 1993, it was made clear that no vehicular approaches would be allowed to or from Willow Grove Road," end quote. This decision was concurred in by council, and in May 2010, the application was rejected. However, the approach was not removed at this time and remains in use. Today's application is now the 3rd application seeking to remove Clause 2 of the zoning agreement affecting 51 Courage Place. In addition to the associated short-form subdivision, there are also a number of maintenance variances required for the subdivision to proceed. This is not a combined hearing today, but they are relevant to this application and the Urban and Planning and Design Division's recommendation. The Complete Communities Direction Strategy 2.0 supports our Winnipeg 2045 and has statutory authority as a secondary plan guiding land use and development in Winnipeg. This site is located within the Rural and Agricultural Lands Policy area of that document. The vision for this policy area is as follows: that rural and agricultural lands be managed in a manner that accommodates food production, rural living, and supportive uses that do not require a full range of municipal services. Land fragmentation should be minimized in preparation for long-term urban development where applicable. Goal 2 of this section includes policy 2.3, which states encourage consolidation of existing lots. And finally, the South St. Vital Perimeter Secondary Plan is a plan guiding development in the South St. Vital area. The subject is located within the medium-density rural residential policy area. Policies relevant to this proposal include C, to establish a medium-density rural residential area and to adopt a zoning bylaw establishing a minimum site area of 2 acres and a minimum site width of 180 feet for single-family dwelling sites subject to approved variations. The Urban Planning Design Division recommends rejection for the following reasons. The proposal is not aligned with complete communities because it would allow for the subdivision of land where the fragmentation of rural land is discouraged and consolidation of lots is encouraged. The proposal is not aligned with the St. Vital South Secondary Plan because the proposed lot widths are significantly less than what is permitted, requiring variances. The applicant included a survey in their approach which shows approach connecting the Quonset to Courage Place. This demonstrates that it's possible to connect access to the Quonset from Courage Place rather than taking access from Willow Grove Road. The variances triggered by the proposed subdivision are significant deviation from what is permitted and are not the minimum modification of the zoning bylaw. These variances include maintaining multiple accessory structures which are significantly oversized, including the Quonset, which would stand alone on proposed Lot 2. It is 5,402 square feet instead of the required maximum of 880 square feet, and also requires a variance to permit an accessory structure that is not accessory to any use on the land. This sort of large storage structure would not be permitted as a principal use under RR2. And finally, when a previous attempt to remove Clause 2 was rejected by Council in 2010, no action was taken to act on the rejection and remove the approach. This concludes our summary. Thank you. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Two things. Number one, no city water, no city sewer out here.
Yes, they have a septic field.
I understand, well, this might be a question more for the applicant. I mean, I understand you're trying to maintain the condition first set up in the 90s, but why that condition first set up in the 90s? The city didn't want to pay for graveling of Willow Grove Road?
Yeah, my understanding was that the road was constructed, Courage Place was constructed purposely to access the properties that fronted it along the cul-de-sac, and the expectation was that access would be taken from that road.
All right.
So access to the address on Willow Grove would be taken from Courage Place?
Just the properties that front Courage Place in the loop.
Yeah, but there's a property on Willow Grove Road.
But its address is Courage Place.
But the address is Courage Place. So, well, that's not right. The address says here it's 110 Willow Ridge, or Willow Grove,
Really?
or 62 Willow Grove Road.
This property. No issues arising from proximity to the floodway here, no limits on density, none of that. No ability to amend zoning amendment agreement to finally get some money to do something with Courage Place Park, which is a strip of grass at the north edge of Courage Place that has never had, no fault to counter. I thought of doing something with it when I was the counselor, but we would have to amend I mean, whoever originally developed this land is long gone.
Yeah.
All right. Anything, that's a fair question. If there are no further questions of the admin, on then to the applicant.
Okay, first our applicant will be Wilson Phillips.
Hi, Mr. Phillips. So I'm assuming you're the owner and
Yeah.
occupier of 51?
No, I'm acting on behalf
Yeah.
of my client, Mr. Lepke.
Oh, okay. Yes, we have Mr. Lepke's name here. But he's the owner and resides at 51.
Okay. So this is 51 Courage Place and 45 Courage Place subdivision. I'll just put up the imagery here just so, because there was some confusion earlier about where the dividing lines are. So this original application was done, earlier, and there was a number of things that were not met, the 2-acre parcel, those kind of things. One of the things to stress here is that all the surrounding owners support this subdivision. So we have letters of support from all the owners around, including the adjacent owners to the lands. The administrative report.
But,
go ahead.
sorry, isn't 45 adjacent?
45 is adjacent, so is 57.
Okay,
So 45 is the southern one there on proposed lot 3, and 57 is to the north.
okay, so one of the adjacent.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So 2 of them are the applicants.
Yeah.
So when we originally discussed this, we weren't going to proceed with the subdivision unless we had support from reasonably support from all the neighbors around, and there was support for it. 57 had changed hands, but we still have support from them. One of the concerns that was raised and in the original administrative report was, well, there's this ZAA that prevents this access. That access is, and I think Mr. Mays might be familiar, this access was there when the Shriners owned it in the 70s. So it's been there for a very long time. It's a level crossing. It's not a culvert kind of situation. So it's been there for forever. None of the area residents want a 600-foot driveway going to this property. And that's one of the reasons why it was like that, although the original proposal was for that. I'll just go through a couple more things. This is the actual look of the street view of it right now. So that's the Quonset that you're looking at that was put in well before my client put that in there. It's been there for a very long time, and I'll demonstrate that quickly. This is the overview. You can see that there's this current overview. There's already been additional connections to Courage Place, both on the west side and in particular at number 62, that's existed since 1997 in contravention of the same ZAA. In fact, the city verbally reported to me was that during the 97 flood, this access was damaged and they put it back. So, goose gander kind of thing. So this is the historical photography that I've put into the report going backwards. So in 1998, you can see the Quonset's already there, and the level of crossing is still there. Go ahead, go back.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. And that white building right there is, yeah, that's the Quonset there. You'll see it historically. That's in the report that I sent to you as well. This was the original area of the Shriners. The Shriners had it all the way along there. They had different mini putts and tennis courts and a swimming hole and everything. So we'll go backwards in time here a little
By
bit.
level crossing, you mean essentially like the access from Willow Grove to your client's
Yes.
house? Okay.
Yeah, there's no culvert ditch or anything like that. It's just, you can drive straight across. And in fact, the city services, the recycling and garbage trucks go down, and then they back up, and then they use my client's level crossing, which he's gravelled, to turn around and actually service the garbage trucks there. So he keeps it plowed, and they get a benefit from that. So we just go backwards a little bit quickly in time, that you can see sort of the bright spot there. In 93, the Quonset's still there. The access from 62 is still there. So I just want to highlight the difference between that and the report there. We go back to 1999, and the thing is still there. The crossings were still there. So just going to keep going back here. In 89 here, we're going back further. It's much further out. When you get back this far, the crossings are still there. This will be on the lower right-hand portion of your thing here. This is it here? Yeah, at the lower end there, yeah. The Quonset isn't there at that time, okay? But the swimming hole and all the stuff for the Shriners is still there, and the level crossing is still there, okay? So it's been used for that long. This is the letter of support from the adjoining neighbor, just for that, and then the other signatories to the approval. So the one thing I want to point out is that the subdivision itself has addressed all of the issues that came up in the prior issues, notwithstanding the...
Keep
2 minutes?
2 minutes, yeah.
Move extension 2 minutes?
Sure. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Good.
Go ahead.
So at the last meeting, we learned that there was opposition to this proposal, and so I spoke with the representative for the opposition, and we went through all the conditions that they had. There was 4 conditions, and we've addressed those conditions. I feel that we've addressed those conditions. Mr. Twain can speak to those. But we tried to work collaboratively to try and, well, what are the issues? Certainly for my client, amending the ZAA to maintain, as the opposition wanted, no access for proposed Lot 2, my client's very happy about that. They don't want another access there as well. So totally great with that, but the access to Lot 1 would remain. So I'll just go back over here to the original picture here. So there isn't a level crossing there right now. The Quonset that was built in the 80s, there's nothing we can do about it. It's just been there. Courage Place, the new owner that can build the house on Lot 2, can now access Courage Place via their own lot, just like 45 does there. Okay?
You mentioned 62. Was that 62 Willow Grove or 62?
Courage Place, yeah.
Place.
Yeah.
And they have their own, you're saying that, why was that material?
It's in contravention of the ZAA as well.
How? Because it's a new driveway, or it's?
The ZAA prevents access to the lots that front on Courage Place from fronting onto River Grove. That was not in the administrative report, although I did request that.
Okay, so 62 Courage, you're saying gets access off Willow Grove? Okay,
That's right.
Thank you. Sorry.
And in the report, I'd highlighted all of these changes, these other accesses. So it's not specifically an access issue. It's the ZAA that's causing the issue. So.
So just help me out here. Lot 3, sorry, if you can go back to lots 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. So Lot 1 in here, or on my computer, it's showing as 62 Willow Grove Road. Can you confirm that it's Willow Grove or Courage?
It's 51 Courage Place. Yeah.
This says 62 Courage Place.
62 Willow Grove.
Oh, sorry, Willow Grove Road.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Or, sorry, 110?
62 Courage Place is further up the block there at the bend.
Okay.
Is that the old clubhouse one? Is that
Yeah.
that one?
Yeah, that's where it would have been, yeah.
So there is a difference between, like, this keeps changing. I guess this is 120, this says it's 120 Willow Grove Road, which is the house on proposed Lot 1.
I'm not sure what system you're looking at there.
I'm looking at Google Street View.
Oh, okay. I don't know at Google Street View. The City of Winnipeg iMaps and stuff like that will have the correct addressing on it.
Okay.
So where the house is, I'll just go over there.
I always thought it was on when I door knocked
Yeah.
here. No way, no, that's on Courage.
45, 57.
Okay.
Yeah.
And these, like everything when you go north here, support this subdivision. The opposition is coming from over here, which is okay. They don't want this new lot to have access to Willowbrook. But that's the main contention, that the opposition, I don't want to put words in somebody else's mouth, but that was one of the main, and my client is very happy about that. They don't want it either. So they just want to amend ZAA so that it doesn't pertain to proposed Lot 1. This thing can continue along, which has been used since the 70s, and it's for that access. And so that's the rub of it. I won't, I don't want to put words in somebody else's mouth.
So basically grandfathering proposed lot 1.
Yeah.
But why does he need the subdivision then if he doesn't want access off Courage Place for the newly created lot, he just wants to use, understandable. I've door knocked this house. I certainly thought it was off Willow Grove. Anyone would have.
Yeah.
Why then, does he really need the subdivision then if he's just wanting to confirm his right to have access to?
No, that's not the only purpose. Obviously, the purpose is to create the lot that will fill in this last bit of development there.
But there'd be no access to that lot from Courage Place, would there?
No, there is, like, as you can see, it would just be like 45, so proposed Lot 2 would build a house.
I misunderstood something you just said then. So you're saying your client is happy to satisfy Mr. Toyne's condition that there be no access to
Willow Grove. Yeah.
new lot, from Willow Grove. So there'd be one house access from Willow Grove, one new house, presumably, okay, sorry,
Yeah.
misunderstood.
Yep. So there's a lot, there's support for it. The opposition has been, I think, addressed, as best as possible. So,
And just, again, for clarity, so current package, nothing is changing the size of 45 here. And how big is 51 now? 3 acres, 3 point?
they're all about 2 acres,
Okay.
slightly over 2 acres.
So the new lot would not meet the 2 acre?
They're all 2 acres. We made sure that they were 2 acres. I surveyed it personally. I can guarantee you they're all over 2 acres.
Okay, all of them, all 3 lots posed to subdivision would be larger than the required 2 acre size?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
I can guarantee you that.
So right now, he's got 51 must be, why don't I ask you, how many, what's the size of 51 right now?
51 is 3.6 acres.
Okay, I thought I'd heard that. I may not be a great mathematician, but there's no way in hell something 3.6 can be divided into 2 parcels that are both more than 2 acres, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, they're consolidating with another portion of
Yeah, they're taking part of
45
51.
Courage Place. So they're taking all those 2 lots and reconfiguring into 3. And
So doesn't he need consent of 45 to do that, though?
yes,
Yeah, 45 is part of the applicant.
And they're in support.
Yes, he's here today.
That wasn't the case last time, then?
No, we didn't think that there was
Okay.
any
Okay.
opposition.
Sorry.
Yes.
Players keep changing. All right. So 45 is now in support, but your hurdle remains the city administration, if I can put it bluntly?
I don't think the administration, in fairness to them, knew all the facts
Fair enough.
going forward.
Fair enough, fair enough. Okay, well, we look forward to hearing from Mr. Toyne. Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, this is confusing as
Next,
hell. All right, yes, next, you're done? Okay.
Okay, next we'll have Lindsay Lopke in support.
Hi, I'm the cause of all this, I guess. 51 Courage Place, Lindsay Lepke. Just write down read what I've written down here. Willow Grove is a public road and not a private lane. The access to Willow Grove has been there since at least the 70s. It is a driveway that has no ditch, nor does it necessitate a culvert. In the late 70s and early 80s, it was a commercial entrance for a large activity center that included a golf course, tennis courts, baseball diamonds, and a swimming pool. There was a maintenance garage that on my lot, that building is gone now, but the concrete pad remains. There's a change room building still standing that I'm using as a garden shed. Septic field was constructed just off the northwest angle of the change house with modifications and upgrades. When my house was built, it's still in use. When the activity center closed in the early 80s, the new owners built a 5,400 square foot Quonset, installed a mobile home near the front of it. The mobile home is gone, but the Quonset is very sound and remains in place. And around 1993, the new owners bought the land and a subdivision was approved. The three mentioned buildings were all located on the one newly located 3.6 acre lot that I purchased in 94. I chose the location for the new house at the back of the lot for many reasons. Proximity to the large shed and the Quonset that already had electricity service from Willow Grove. In 1998, I believe natural gas was brought down to 136 Willow Grove because it would service my house and theirs. The hydro pole aesthetics were improved by moving one pole to the west side of Willow Grove instead of crisscrossing it. The existing water well was south of the Quonset and close to the new house. The existing septic field and connections were in close proximity. Lastly, this is a beautiful location surrounded by existing groves of mature trees. So this decision to build the back of the lot was in no way determined with the thought of someday subdividing Courage Place frontage. However, it did create what appears to be a forever vacant lot. Even with the driveway running through it from Courage Place, it does not fit in with the existing houses on Courage. It has an effect a lot of times for me getting stuff delivered, so that's one of the reasons for going through with this too, is to sort of normalize the address where the house is now. It has no adverse effects on my house yet. The only negative visuals for 51 Courage Place is for the other neighbors of the vacant lot that's there right now, or the appearance of a vacant lot. With 51 Courage as a civic address, the location of my new house met all of the location guidelines. The house and outbuildings have been there now for 25 to 45 years. Amending the back and side yard definitions will not change the actual location of the structures. A new house on the newly created lot will meet all guidelines. It will complete and enhance the look of the neighborhood. More yard maintenance and improved drainage and landscaping will happen. The designation of my house to be a Willow Grove address and a new home at the newly developed 2-acre lot on Courage will annually add property tax revenue without any extra expense to the city. This extra revenue will also help pay for a section of Willow Grove that is gradually sinking into the Seine River and periodically needs substantial gravel dumps and repair, in particular last spring. This is not caused in any way by vehicle traffic, but is caused by the normal riverbank erosion, which is happening sort of beside the Quonset into the Seine River there. Since my house was built, 3 approaches have been added to Willow Grove, 2 on the west side and 1 on the east from Lot 1. All 3 were presumably granted permits and built to code with proper culverts. Lot 2 is likely never to require Willow Grove access. That's the new house, or sort of the house between just to the north. The public reserve created, it's not applicable. That's basically it. My driveway is not causing any issues. It was there basically for the buildings that were there already. And I just think in conclusion that approving the application causes no negatives and there's many numerous positives. In particular, the garbage trucks that are turning around in this particular driveway that's always been in question for the last 25 years, they back into it and drive out of there. So really, if you terminate the driveway, it actually causes a problem now for where the trucks turn around. So, any questions?
Can you just clarify, thank you for the presentation, lovely property.
Thank you.
That hasn't been in my ward for a number of years. I haven't been by for a number of years, but I certainly did come by when I was the area councillor. So, sorry I misunderstood something earlier, but it is a bit confusing when the owners of 45, you don't own 45 as well.
No, I don't.
No. But the subdivision of 2 lots into 3 would necessitate a 0.4 of an acre-ish.
Correct.
Taking from that property to create the new lot. So yes, I assume we'll be hearing from the people from 45. But just for clarity, so that's, you're not the owner, but it would require cooperation between the 2 of you to create 3 lots.
Exactly, yeah. To get the 2-acre minimum, that was the reason for doing that.
And new lot, let us just call it, new lot that would open onto Courage Place would have access only from Courage Place?
Correct.
Not from Willow Grove?
Correct.
And the new approach that has been built, so that's like 62 Courage, has a driveway, has an approach out to Willow Grove?
Yeah, that was actually part of one of the original buildings, that house there. So, so yeah, it had access to Willow Grove there. And one of the floods, I'm not sure if it was the 97 one or the one with more of the rains in the summer, but there was some backup of some culverts, and I guess the city, or they dug out that driveway to allow proper drainage or better drainage from it.
Okay.
Ease the flooding. And then after that was done, they put it back in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I have a question of public service when that time comes.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Okay, so just, and then, so the idea would be new house of some, so Quonset is going to be on new lot?
Yes.
So in theory, you'll sell, someone will buy new lot, they will presumably take down Quonset,
No, they would never take down the Quonset.
they'll build a new house and utilize the
They'll build a new house, but that Quonset's in too good of condition to just demolish it for, like it's,
Fair enough.
yeah. It's
Okay.
not like it's an old wooden shop or whatever.
People in this part of the city tend to like their
Yeah.
tend to like a big property too, in my experience.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, very good, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Next up in support, we have Dennis Richaud.
Hello, I'm Dennis Richaud, owner of 45 Courage Place. And as Lindsay talked about, we've already had the agreement that he is going to be buying a portion of our property to ensure that he meets the 2-acre requirements for the potential subdivision. I, with the rest of the people living on Courage Place and in that area, are all in agreement that this should proceed, and the items brought forward, from the garbage trucks to the gravel trucks to the graders and snow removal and whatever, use that access quite frequently, and it prevents any big machineries from turning around or running backwards basically down the lane and maintaining it and whatnot. But from my point of view, being the neighbor on the south side of the proposed lot, there are no issues from my perspective of seeing this moving forward. Looking forward to getting a nice house in that area versus an appearance of a vacant lot, basically. And it'll help the appearance of our neighborhood, basically, is kind of what the bottom line is in my perspective. So no concerns at all.
And for clarity again, your number, you reside at?
45 Courage
45.
Place, which is just on the
Okay,
south side.
so we seem to have had a meeting of the minds then, since we first looked at this.
Yeah.
So, but your concern, as I understood it, was didn't want vehicle access for new lot off of Willow Grove.
That was personally never my concern
Okay,
at all. So,
okay. So you are okay then with you're in support, basically?
100%, no issues whatsoever, yeah.
Okay. So your understanding would be current house would continue to take access as they have de facto for
Yeah, they're
decades?
the driveway's there.
And
It's
new-
just missing the house.
New lot would take access from,
Courage Place.
Okay.
Yeah, right beside my access, which is, there is one there now, so it wouldn't be any
Yes, fair
change
point.
whatsoever
Fair
from that appearance point.
okay. Good, okay.
So would it be an extension or a carving out of a driveway for,
The driveway to the proposed lot already exists.
okay.
So
What's-
it'll get carved and paved or asphalted or something, I can only assume, but it's not going to change anything. It's got a culvert already, everything, it's,
Do you know the approximate length of the driveway?
I guess it depends to where you want, like,
Like where they would.
And where the new house.
yeah,
House
it bridges it bridges the ditch, and so, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
No concerns, septic field, septic tank, what do you do for water? You get that,
We all have wells. Yeah, so, if anything gets developed there, has no effect on mine. I can only speak from 51, from a visual, and again, they can speak on their own behalf, but it's not going to affect their septic or their well or anything like that. Tree lines are already developed.
okay. So city admin appears to have no concerns about a new well going in? No, this isn't the St. Mary's Road
No.
nightmare well issues. This is the
The
other side of the
aquifer.
river. Okay. I withdraw the question.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. That is it in regards to support, registered support. Just checking the gallery that we don't have anyone else who wishes to speak in support of the item. I see no one. Okay, next in opposition, we have Kevin Toyne.
My brain hurts.
All right. Good morning. Kevin Toyne here on behalf of the Gills, who live at the south end of Willow Grove on the west end side.
Thank you for clearing that. I think
What-
I misunderstood whom you were representing.
Yeah.
What's the address?
136 Willow Grove. So you've heard a bit about some of the historical background. The key piece of historical information, at least from my perspective, is the imposition of this clause number 2 back in 1993. So regardless of what the situation was at that point in time, drives from Courage Place were to be closed up and no further ones would be permitted. Notwithstanding that, the house at 51 Courage has access, and that would be the new Lot 1. And Lot 2, or the new lot, Councillor Mays, as you were referring to it, also has access via that same strip. So from my client's perspective, there's a number of different concerns, one of which we haven't heard from the applicants about, and that's whether or not this is even something that's permitted, given that it's contrary both to our Winnipeg 45 and the applicable secondary plan. So from my client's perspective, this is something that's prohibited by Section 236 sub 1.1 of the Charter. So it's something that you cannot do. Now, of course, you may disagree with me. So I'll tell you why, if you think you can, why you still shouldn't. The first reason is that we have a situation where there is decades of non-compliance with applicable city zoning requirements. This isn't a situation, to use the Big Red Barn case, Councillor Mays, that you may recall and that I eventually got involved in. A landowner discovers that they are offside, they start taking steps to correct, they come before a committee of council, they apologize, they get whatever they need to get, and they move on. We have part of that story here where the landowner did come forward back in 2009, but was told no, and yet did absolutely nothing to bring themselves into compliance. So when someone who has effectively been flouting what you and your predecessors have said needs to happen for an extended period of time, even after they've been told that they're not going to get the change that they want, their request for a change has to be rejected. There's an expectation, I suspect, from each of you, your colleagues, city staff, that Winnipeggers, by and large, will comply with all of the various requirements that are imposed upon them. You know, most recently, the make sure your grass doesn't get too long that's been in the news this week. You expect Winnipeggers to comply with the obligations that you set for them. And when someone refuses to do that for decades, when they come forward and ask for a discretionary approval, the answer has to be no, in my respectful submission. Now, if you're prepared to grant this amendment, notwithstanding the fact that the charter says you can't and the non-compliance for decades says you shouldn't. There's a couple of important conditions that my clients would like to see put into place. First, that there be no access to the new lot or lot number 2 off of Willow Grove. There's some concerns that simply, ensuring that stays in place will be sufficient, given the fact that that current drive should not have been there for decades. Lot 2 currently has access off of Willow Grove through the drive that exists. And some steps should be taken to ensure that that is closed off. Mr. Phillips, he and I have had some discussions. He suggested just extending, the hedges a little bit down along the east side of Willow Grove. But of course, unless you're severing that connection between the drive onto 51, that's not going to do the trick. We've already seen...
Sorry, and we can stop the clock there, maybe, but doesn't that landlock, or maybe we'll give you some additional time. Yeah. But then how does he get in, so your client is saying no, not to new lot, not the one that will abut Courage Place. They're saying we don't want access off Willow Grove to the current, the yellow house. So,
yes.
Okay.
Yes. Sorry. So
how is he getting in then, off of Courage Place, I guess?
The way that he should have got in back in the 90s.
Fair enough. Okay.
And the way he should have got back in 2010 after he came before the city and was told no.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. There's concerns about construction traffic coming down Willow Grove for whether it's the septic, the house, whatever may happen there. That should not be permitted. That all should go down Courage Place.
How much more time do you need?
It depends on how many more questions you might have.
Yeah.
Well, questions are notwithstanding. I mean, just time.
2 minutes, maybe. Just
Move extension 2 minutes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
That's carried.
Yeah. In the letter that I had submitted, there were some issues about making sure that funding is set aside for whatever the costs might be. That's an important condition when you have such a lengthy history of non-compliance with city regulation. The suggestion that somehow asking the applicant to finally bring themselves into compliance creates public works issues. I'm not as familiar with Willow Grove as both of you may be. I've only driven down there once. But it strikes me that that's one of the easier challenges that Public Works might face this particular year, resolving that. And it's certainly not something that was raised in the administrative report. So I don't think that's particularly concerning. With respect to the suggestion that input from all of the neighbors and area residents was sought. That may have been the case for others, but that was certainly not the case with my clients. In the document that I submitted, I indicated that my clients didn't receive anything. There's a letter that Mr. Phillips sent out to some residents. My clients did not receive that. There's some document from the landowner, Mr. Lepke. My clients didn't receive a copy of that. Their concerns were not taken into account at the outset. Mr. Phillips and I have had some discussions, but nonetheless, my clients remain opposed to this amendment for the reasons that I've set out. They aren't opposed to a subdivision per se, so long as there's no access off Willow Grove, and that Clause 2 is actually enforced by the city. The documents show repeated requests over the years for the city to actually enforce it. Why it hasn't been enforced, I'm not sure, but it certainly should be. If you don't have any further questions.
Can you clarify that?
Yeah, the section of the City of Winnipeg Charter that you referenced?
Yes, I was going to.
Sorry, 236 sub 1.1. I mention it in page 2 of my letter, and I'll read it just to assist that way if your computer's slow. A zoning bylaw must be consistent with the development plan bylaw and any applicable secondary plan, period. I say that that also includes and extends to zoning agreements and any amendments to zoning agreements. So hopefully I got the section right, but it's at the very least, it's in the mid-230s.
Okay. Do we have, Mr. Clark, a response to that, or who's ever?
Which section of the charter are you referring to?
236, 1.1.
236, 1.1. I've got the council to pass zoning bylaws, is that?
I've got 236 sub 1.1 in my letter. I can pull it up on my phone if it seems like I may have made reference to the wrong one.
Okay, and of the City of Winnipeg Charter?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The other charter doesn't go to 236.
Yeah, maybe can we double check on that?
Just bear with me.
This is not the letter from yesterday, but an earlier letter.
April 28, 2025.
And 236 brackets 1.1 is what you were citing there.
Yeah, I'm having trouble by the version on Canly that I'm pulling up. I'm unable to see the numbers, so I'm not able to search it.
Well, maybe we can get some, I'll leave that to Councillor Chambers, I guess, if he wants legal to. So the allegation is section 236 brackets 1.1. We would be in breach of that if we were to support this amendment.
Yes, so I'm trying to search a different way here.
Well, perhaps you can send us a reference so that we can have our legal search.
Of course, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not sure what the issue with my phone is at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure City Legal would love to get another email from me.
And just clarify, if you would, the proposed, the graveling condition, is that in the administrative report?
Yeah, so
here?
in the administrative report, there's reference to, it's the final bullet point on page 13 of the admin report under analysis.
Okay. That should the application be approved, the developer will need to contribute to the cost of perpetual graveling of Willow Grove Road for the full length of the planned area abutting Willow Grove Road.
But they say they've been doing that already. because part of the road has been falling into the Sand River. And they've been adding gravel where required.
My understanding.
But it's more informal than formal.
Yes, that's also, yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was going to say my understanding is that there are periods of time, either throughout the year or over multiple years, where the gravel section of Willow Grove does deteriorate. What I had understood Mr. Phillips and Mr. Lepke to be saying is that the section directly in front of where the drive, which is contrary to clause number 2, currently exists, that's something that they are currently looking after. But that the remainder of Willow Grove is something that the city will continue to look after from time to time, and perhaps not as frequently as it should.
Assuming that all the historical recitations are correct here about what Mr. Vincent said in 1993, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, I mean, is the real issue for your clients the caliber, the quality of the road? It's not, surely it's not that there's excess of traffic on the road. I mean, it's one house, but I mean, we haven't heard that they're running a construction business or something out of this place. So is that, I mean, I get it, that applicant's been in breach for a very long time indeed, and that frustrates your clients, but is the house isn't going anywhere, so is the issue just the condition of the road, really?
I think it's that, but the volume of traffic, of course, impacts the quality of the road. The frequency of maintenance and upkeep also impacts. So the more vehicles that are going down to that end of Willow Grove causes issues with the quality of the roads. For example, the various construction that would be associated with all of this should be sent around Courage Place, for example.
That's right. Okay. But, yeah, I've spent more time than I wish I had on gravel lanes issues and whether we should densify along gravel lanes, partly for this. The more cars aren't going to make it better usually, so, okay, thank you. Any further questions? So, I mean, condition number 1 is a bit precious, isn't it? I mean, that they can have their subdivision, but they just can't get to their house off Willow Grove. I mean, then there's going to have to be some horrifically long driveway in from Courage Place to this. I mean, it's certainly going to make it trickier to develop the new lot on the front of Courage Place.
Well, if you take a look, there's a sketch that was provided.
True.
It's page 15 of the admin report. So, and I can't recall if this is something that Mr. Phillips and I spoke about offline, or perhaps he may have said this, or it may have been both. So you'll see there's a drive from the Courage Place cul-de-sac there that makes its way over to the Quonset. At least I hope that you are seeing.
Yep, I think I'm seeing, this is the thing stamped, yeah.
Yeah, figure 4, the proposed site plan if ZAA 125 were approved.
Yeah, I think I'm.
Okay, so you've got that lengthy drive. So if you conclude that clause number 2 should stay for both of those lots, something along those particular lines would allow access both to the Quonset and to the property at 51 Courage Place.
Yeah.
So, and Mr. Phillips, I'm fairly confident he said this, is that, look, the preference of the neighbors is that not be there. Of course, that preference is inconsistent with decisions made by some of your predecessors over the past number of decades.
But your client's issue is not, and then I think we're done on question. Your client's issue is not that new lot would have access from Willow Grove. That seems unlikely to happen. They'll come in off Courage. Your client's issue remains the existing 51 Courage should not be taking access off Willow Grove. They have done it for decades. They should stop.
That's certainly an issue that is related to this specific application that's before you, but that it's also a bigger one with respect to city enforcement and things like that. But yes, that is, that's been an issue that's not been addressed by the city for, yes.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you both.
All right, thank you.
Okay, oh, sorry.
I think Councillor Chambers needs to get to his other meeting,
Board meeting.
and we need,
No, RBC.
Oh. And we would then resume at,
1:15?
all right, so we'll, apologies, folks, but with only two of us here, you need us both, so that's quorum. So we will pick up again on Courage Place at 1:15 and then turn our minds to the other two.
Good.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll call today's Riel Community Committee back to order. Hopefully we can finish off the agenda, but we're in the midst of dealing with item number 1. I think we were hearing from those in opposition, Mr. Clerk?
Correct. Okay, so we just heard from Kevin Toyne in opposition. We have no one else registered. Just looking to the gallery to see if there's anyone else who wishes to speak in opposition to this item. I can note no one. Okay, next is for information. Similarly, we have no one registered for no information. Again, looking to the gallery. Nothing. Okay, and now it'd be back to you, Mr. Chair, if you'd like to ask questions of the public service.
Okay, Councillor Chambers, any questions to the public service?
Yes. Oh, no. The question is with respect to 236-11, but that will need a legal opinion.
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay, so from clarity then, the sequence, if this were to succeed, this would then need to go on a long voyage through the planning committee, the EPC and council. Then the applicant would have to come in with a subdivision, short form subdivision and variances, which presumably would come here, although the variances wouldn't be tied to a rezoning, so I'm not sure they would come here.
Yeah, the variances would be administrative approval. So they wouldn't come to committee unless, they would go to the appeals committee if they were appealed, otherwise they wouldn't go anywhere.
And the short form subdivision would similarly not come to us, it would go to,
There's no public hearing for a short form. Yeah.
Just administrative.
right, okay. So today is the public hearing, okay. Any further? Okay, I guess we'll have, one more question, just on there's the somewhat bizarre statement that we're going to, if this is approved, then the owner of 51 should be on for perpetual graveling costs. A rather melodramatic statement. What do we mean by that? How do we calculate that? How would indicated that should the application be approved, the developer will need to contribute, the developer here might be 45 and 51, regardless, the developer will need to contribute to the cost of perpetual graveling of Willow Grove Road for the full length of the planned area abutting Willow Grove Road, which is, these are some big properties, so I don't know how that's a couple of 100 feet, is my Saint Vital guess on that. How does that work?
We worked with Public Works to look at what the maintenance regimen was for the road and how much gravel would be required. It's a substandard cross-section. Land drainage is an issue, so the most likely scenario is the road will remain as it is with some improvements. So we looked at the cost to maintain it and came up with $70 per linear foot would be a reasonable cost for the charge to gravel it for the foreseeable future.
And you just add that to annual?
It's a one-time charge. And who knows what happens down the line. So perpetual might not be the right word to be using, but it's more of a historical term that we've used.
Okay, so it's a one-off hit. It's
a one-off hit.
$70 a linear foot. It's
Today's rate.
what, 200 linear feet, ballparky, somewhere in there.
$100. No, 200,
Or is it, by linear, it's just,
14,000.
it's just length, right? It's not square footage here we're talking.
Yeah, it's 180 linear meters.
That was a bad shot.
500 feet.
Okay. And no, I think we went over this. Well issues are fine here. Septic field, there's some craziness with, there's some complexity with the septic field would have to be closed off on the new lot, but if there's any issues arising, that's provincial, isn't it?
So septic fields would be provincial jurisdiction. The hydrological study for the area was more based on, or the concerned area was to the east of St. Mary's Road. so
Yes.
Quite a ways away, where the two conflicting aquifers were.
Actually, west of St. Mary's Road, the problematic area. The
You're right, sorry. You are correct.
Between St. Mary's
And the river.
If
and the
everyone in the room has reviewed these, yes.
Sorry, you were right. Sorry, so the conflict of the two aquifers is over there with the infringement. This is quite far into the non-saline aquifer.
Okay, good answer. Thank you. Okay, so that would be, if we proceed, we would add, the staff would recommend we add in the graveling business.
Yeah, and it's preemptive. We would, we're trying to take we are trying to be preemptive that it would be on the rezoning. So typically, like we did earlier this morning, I would have to come back on the short form to request permission to enter into an agreement. So we're requesting it at this time.
Okay. Okay, Councilor Chambers. Okay, do we need rebuttal? No, we probably don't.
We would have to, in process, have to ask for it, or offer it.
After, at some point.
For what?
Councilor Chambers is moving for the front.
We just returned it, it's just for today, we just have to adjust, speak on anything.
So, motion to defer now or motion to defer after?
But here's the thing, if we pull this over, when is the next real committee? That's not till September. So we're gonna have to be okay with that. Or they're gonna have to be okay with that. Okay, all right.
Okay.
Okay.
So first we'll hear rebuttal then, and then I think, given some of the legal issues that have arisen, we will have to take some steps. So let's hear rebuttal.
Wilson Phelps for the applicant. Couple points to make. I've spoken with Mr. Toyne, and he's more learned of the law than I am, that's for sure. One of the things to note is in the presentation by Mr. Toyne, he pointed out that if you do approve it, so there must be a pathway for that to approve, not putting words in his mouth, but it would seem more logical to approve the ZAA, and then if it doesn't meet the technical standard, that then it's not in effect. That would seem like the best way to go forward, sort of.
Well, just so you're aware that even if there are technical issues, they can still be overcome as well. Through
Yes,
variances.
I'll defer to Mr. Toyne on all of these legalities. It's just, like when we read the letter, and if it's approved, then these conditions. So we met those conditions. All of the people around that area, and including the adjacent neighbors, want this to happen. Even the person that's opposed, through the letter, is okay with the subdivision, subject to those conditions, and we can deal with the connection to Willow Grove. Nobody wants the connection on Lot 2 to Willow Grove, including my client. So everything seems to be in order, I guess you'd say. Yeah, I wasn't aware of the dollar value there. If I could ask a question about that, the $70 per linear foot, it'd be about 35 grand, if that's correct. Anyways, that's a secondary point to the
That
rebuttal.
is excellent rebuttal point to make, though. Yes, can we get that clarified?
So,
It's the exact kind of thing you should be raising on rebuttal, because you couldn't have known it in your original presentation.
It's just cost for the material, the labor is.
205.
$41,205?
Plus labor
It's
costs.
a lot of gravel.
All right, so I just want to point out the original, I don't have it on here, but the original pictures. The city did come, like the original complainant had pictures in there that it was all mud. The city has already come in there and redid that road after the slumping. So it's all gravelled. So I just want to point that out, that the condition that was in the complainant report that showed all this mud, the city already came back and put in, basically rebuilt the road and gravelled it, for which the gravel, the recycling and garbage trucks use right now. Those are heavy trucks, and then they come to my client's driveway to turn around. So we're always talking about, well, how are we going to get access to, to garbage and that kind of collection? I just point out that my client has done his part on that part, and the city's already improved that road greatly. Notwithstanding that the person further down the road might have concerns about maintenance of that road, but I think that's a bit not as necessary as could be, the $41,205. Just my opinion, but based on the current condition of the road.
This property would now be paying frontage levy as well, right? Well, they didn't used to, because they, of course, don't have the city water and sewer as we.
They don't have frontage.
So typically, we expect development to pay their share of the intensification costs. This road has a substandard road. Normal expectation, if it was within reason, would be to pave it into an urban cross-section, including land drainage. However, when we reviewed it, that was far in excess of reasonable. And
That's good.
this is the most reasonable position we can take.
Councilor Chambers has forcefully reminded me that I'm confusing two things, which were the minimal municipal
Tax credit.
grant, which was $250 a household if you were south of the perimeter, basically, and had no city. That's been rescinded, but the frontage levy does not apply to properties of this sort. So that's a good correction by Councilor Chambers.
If I could just further to that point, once the subdivision's done, there's actually, because the current lot pays the frontage on Courage Place right now, so now you'll have the same frontage on Courage Place, taking in that, and then the new frontage along Willow Grove.
Well, if you were on my street, that would be the case, but you don't have water and sewer out there, so you're not paying the frontage. You're paying taxes and garbage pickup fee, et cetera. Okay.
And some snow clearing.
Fair enough.
That's it. Okay. Okay. Is that the president? Thank you.
Thank you.
Actually, a pretty interesting matter here, I have to say.
So, now is time for motions?
Yeah.
Good. So, given the comments that were made in opposition with respect to section 236.1.1, it would be incumbent upon us as a committee to get a legal opinion, because there was some comment referencing the fact that one would be in direct contravention of the other in terms of the secondary plan and the Winnipeg Charter. So I would like to defer this matter over to our next Riel Community Committee meeting to give us the opportunity to get a legal opinion on those comments.
Yeah, I completely support that, given the allegation that we'd be in breach, knowingly in breach of the charter if we proceed. I would like to get our staff to advise on that, and this was never going to be the finish line anyway, because you'd still need the subdivision and the variances, although that is not back in front of us now. That would be administrative. So I will be supporting Councilor Chambers' motion to defer this to our next meeting. on the condition that we get a legal opinion about the implications of 236 brackets 1.1 of the City of Winnipeg Charter.
Okay?
Okay,
So Councilor,
okay.
just to confirm, so we're going to lay over this item, ZA 1/2025, to our September 4th meeting, 2025, at 10:30 a.m. in this building here, Council Building.
Good. Call the question then. All those in favor?
Aye.
There's no one in opposition, so we will.
And sorry, and reps will remain open? My apologies.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, so we will defer that to September meeting then. Again, Councillor Ellard was not here when we started this a few months ago, and he will therefore not be eligible to take part as we hopefully reach the finish line at the next meeting on the Courage Place item. Willow Grove / Courage Place. Okay, so thank you to all those for your patience, and we'll turn then to number 2, which is, Mr. Clerk?
Of course. Item 2 is a rezoning at southeast of Paulette Duguay Street and Ibrahima Diallo Avenue under file DAZ 2010/2025. The process the committee will follow is the applicant will be heard first, followed by those in support of the application, those registered in opposition, and those registered for information. The applicant may return to speak in rebuttal to comments made. However, no new information is permitted. Speakers will be permitted 5 minutes for their presentations. All participants in the Zoom meeting have been unmuted and will only be permitted to speak when called upon. And I'll just turn this over to our planners.
The subject property is located southeast of Paulette Duguay Street and Ibrahima Diallo Avenue within the Stockyards neighborhood of the St. Boniface Ward. The lot size is 2.18 acres and the property is currently vacant. The site is currently zoned RMFM, residential multifamily medium, and is located within the Public Markets Major Redevelopment Site D under Complete Communities 2.0. The site is also located within the Major Redevelopment Site Secondary Plan. Plans for the site and building have not been submitted with this application. The proposal is to align with recent changes to the Public Markets Secondary Plan, which now states that the multi-story residential buildings in the westernmost approximately 80 meters of the area east of Paulette Duguay shall be permitted up to 14 stories and 150 feet. Under the Public Market Secondary Plan, Policy 8.2 Clause 2 states that up to 2,000 dwelling units may be permitted in the planning area following the successful implementation of a predictive rail crossing blockage alert system to the satisfaction of the Chief of the Winnipeg Fire and Paramedic Service, the Director of Public Works, and the Director of Planning, Property and Development. The purpose of this application is to bring the development rights of the subject land in line with the allowable height and density permitted under the Public Market Secondary Plan, and as such requires a rezoning to the RMFL, Residential Multifamily Large Zoning District. The Urban Planning Division recommends approval as the zoning district does align with the recent changes made to the secondary plan, which allows 150-foot tall buildings. Future development remains limited to the total number of units permitted under the secondary plan, which is up to 2,000 units with the successful implementation of a predictive rail crossing blockage alert system. And development plans specific to this site will require plan approval through the Riel Community Committee. And with that, I'll conclude my introduction.
All right. So this is simultaneously the Stockyards, the Market Lands, and the Water Tower District all rolled into one here.
Got a lot of different names, yeah.
Yes. I think, well, we'll let Mr. Scaletta tell us what he's now calling it whenever he's called, or his the other delegates. Okay, so any questions?
Didn't we hear this once before?
Oh, we've heard this, we've heard this 20 times, I think. So this is what's new about this is a fair question.
What's new about this is particular to one lot in the secondary plan area. Previous applications that have come forward as recent as 2024 were to amend the secondary plan as well as some of the other zoning agreement conditions. This is essentially a rezoning to align with those secondary plan amendments that came forward last year.
But it's also going to allow for increased density, correct?
It technically offers increased density based on the RMFL zoning district. However, the overall area is still confined to that 2,000 units with the predictive rail crossing.
Okay. I'd like to hear why.
Okay, so first, oh, sorry.
That leads us wonderfully into the delegations.
Indeed.
So,
So for our applicant, we have Jackie Wilkie to speak on.
Good morning. Is it okay if I go down here so I can?
Yep.
Stockyards, market lands. July 23, 2020.
Good morning. My name's Jackie Wilkie. I'm with McGowan Russell Group. Susan was going to be doing this presentation for us today, but she is out ill, so I will be reading off of her notes for this presentation. Councillor Mays and Chambers, thank you for the opportunity to speak in support of the rezoning for the 2.18 acre site on the southeast corner of Paulette de Gay and Ibrahima Diallo from RMFM to RMFL. To bring the development rights of the property land in line with the allowable height and density permitted under the public markets secondary plan. On behalf of the owners and the design team, we would like to thank the city administration, including planners, public works, Winnipeg Fire Paramedics, Water and Waste and Land Development Branch for a truly collaborative process. We'll review the following: alignment with the secondary plan, zoning and development context, public service report recommendations, and public service report conditions. Rezoning of the subject land from RMFM to RMFL is required to align with the following recent updates to the secondary plan. Policy 3.2.2, Clause 3, multi-story residential buildings in the westernmost approximately 80 meters of this area east of the aforementioned Collector Road, Paulette de Gay Street, shall be permitted up to 14 stories and 150 feet, excluding permitted projections in the Winnipeg zoning bylaw. RMFL zoning designation permits buildings heights of 150 feet or 14 stories. And policy 8.2, clause 2, up to 2,000 dwelling units may be permitted in the planning area, that's the entire area, following the successful implementation of a predictive rail crossing blockage alert system or some alternate solution to the satisfaction of the City of Winnipeg Fire Paramedics, Public Works, Director of Public Works, and Director of Property and Planning Development. RMFL zoning designation doubles the quantity of residential units permitted on the subject lands, assisting with the overall goal of achieving the 2,000 dwelling units, including 10% affordable units. The subject, excuse me, 2.1 acre lot is located at the southeast corner of Paulette de Gay Street and Ibrahima Diallo. The proposed rezoning to RMFL is consistent with the RMFL zoning of the lots on the west side of Paulette de Gay Street, focusing the highest density and greatest building heights at the north and west end of the public markets multifamily residential area in close proximity to commercial area. The future pair of transit stops will be located at this intersection. Developer is required to construct one pair of bus stop platforms. The site is directly connected to the active transportation path on the east side of Paulette de Gay Street, required to be constructed by the developer. All services, water, wastewater, land drainage, required for public markets and this lot have been constructed. Ibrahima Diallo Avenue has been constructed, and 80% of Paulette de Gay Street has been constructed, with the final 20% scheduled for completion this summer. The predictive rail crossing blockage alert system is in place and should be operational in July. Sidewalks, AT pathways, and a pair of bus stop platforms at Paulette de Gay Street and Ibrahima Diallo Avenue are scheduled for construction in 2026. The Urban Planning Division recommends approval for the following reasons: rezoning from FM to RMFL will enable the subject property to develop in line with the public market secondary plan and council approved from September 26, 2024 changes proposed under bylaw 62, 2024. The zoning district aligns with recent changes to the secondary plan, which allows 150 feet tall buildings with 80 meters, within 80 meters of the East Collector Road planned for the area. Future development will be limited to a total number of units permitted under the secondary plan, which is 1,200 within phase one and a maximum of 2,000 with the successful implementation of the protective rail crossing system. The developer agrees with the following conditions recommended by the administration: plan approval by Director and Riel Community Committee, a new zoning agreement that applies specifically to the subject property. The new zoning agreement includes conditions from the original and amended zoning agreements that are applicable to this lot. One pair of bus stop platforms with paved connectors to nearest sidewalk near the intersection of Ibrahima Diallo and Paulette de Gay Street. Given that Schedule B, I'm going to go over, I'm sorry, only includes the one servicing condition. The developer has discussed with Land Development Branch that the city and Alexa enter into a simple letter agreement with the above obligations specified with standard construction clauses in lieu of a servicing agreement with the public service recommendation. 1B states is needed only if required. This, oh,
How much more time do you need?
1 minute?
Move extension 1 minute.
Thank you.
Moved. All those in favor? Aye. Contrary? That's carried.
This slide does not include the condition regarding cash in lieu dedication, but I understand that there's been a discussion on how that will be dealt with. It's to highlight the understanding that it will be a value of 0. We are not asking that condition 3 be removed. That in lieu of the dedication of land, the developer shall provide a cash payment representing 10% of the planned area value of the development application as determined by the Director of Planning, Property and Development. As we know that it must be included as a condition in all zoning agreements in accordance with 10.1 of the Development Procedures Bylaw. However, it is our understanding that because dedication has already been taken on the land under the original DASZ for the land, no additional dedication can be taken up to 30 years following the initial rezoning, 40 years if it is original developer. So that is why you do not see that on there. And that is the end of our presentation. Thank you.
All right. Any questions?
Yeah, so your request is to have this amended from RMFLM to L.
Yes.
But you're not anticipating increasing the amount of units
It will increase the number of units on that property,
on that property.
but
You're
the
confined to
2,000, the 2,000 units are for all of the properties that you see in brown on the map, plus the one highlighted in yellow, which is the subject site. So that 2,000 units is spread out over all of those lots. We would just like to increase the density up closer to the intersection.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Next up, in support, we have Robert Scaletta.
Hello. I'll just speak for probably 1 minute or less. Yeah, the density there, I'm allocating so much per lots. We have 25, we have almost 27 acres of land we can develop multifamily on. So I'm just allocating where they go. So there's not, we're not adding any more. We cannot add any more to that 2,000 units. So that's all it is. And then, like water and waste, everybody's all agreed because our capacity was probably for 2,100, I think, under the water and waste system. And then the road, we had to realign the roadway for the 2,000 units, which was a secondary plan that we were here back last year for. So.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay.
And height, any change on height?
No, that was part of the secondary plan. We included that. So the 2 lots to the west of that road, there's 2 lots there that's 10 acres. We can go 14 stories there, as well as that one little lot for the what we're rezoning right now. It can go to 14 stories, which is 150 feet.
Okay. No, none of this is under malls and corridors, I assume. Certainly it's not malls, but the city's recent changes around corridors, we're not touching any of that, I assume?
No.
Okay. And I think we went over this ad nauseum when we first did this, but all the sewage issues are all, I think it says Mission District.
We're now separated.
Oh.
We have our own storm drainage, and the sanitation has a complete separation. We have the two ponds in there, and it goes to the same, yeah. So we have, our whole development is all separated from the system.
Well, we should be celebrating that. That's great.
Yeah, because we capped about 14 catch basins that were draining into the system.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Thank you.
Okay, that's all we have for registered in support. Just checking the gallery that there's no one else wishing to speak in support. None to note. Next on to opposition, we have no one registered. Similarly, do we have anyone in the gallery wishing to speak? Nope. Okay, and lastly, for information, checking the gallery, no one. Okay, and now I'll turn it back to you, Mr. Chair, if there's any questions of the public service.
Any concerns from the public service on this? Any matters unresolved?
No.
Okay.
There's no one in opposition of this?
And all that, we sorted out all that nightmarish fire truck, railway crossing, all that stuff, that's all gotten sorted out? That might have been before your time, you might not have had to do with that meeting.
I'm aware of the history somewhat on that, and I understand that there still will be, the need for the chief of the fire paramedics to sign off on this, Director of Public Works, Director of Planning, to confirm that rail mitigation system is in effect and in place before we can approve up to the 2,000 units.
Does this count toward the intensification target? Surely this is not Greenfield.
I'll go back to check the map.
Mr. Scaletta would not be pleased with us if we referred to that as Greenfield.
Yeah, it falls within the intensification target area, yeah.
Great, okay.
Okay, ready for motions?
Right of rebuttal, I think?
Indeed. Is there any wish for rebuttal? Nothing? Okay.
Hey, we're
Back to you.
I move that the report of the Winnipeg Public Service be taken as read.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, contrary, that's carried.
I move that the receipt of public representations be concluded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary, that's carried.
I move that the recommendation of the Winnipeg Public Service be concurred in and forward to the Standing Policy Committee on Property Development and, to EPC?
EPC, correct.
Yep.
Via the priority rezoning process. My supporting reasons are that the developer has agreed to, must agree to submit plans showing the location, design, and proposed building, principal buildings, accessory parking, private approaches, garbage enclosures, lighting, fencing, landscaping, and freestanding signage. I acknowledge and recognize that this is an opportunity for the developer to allocate and assign where density will occur in this development. Potentially that could that lead to less congestion in the area and things like that, and better planning for the area as well. So those are my supporting reasons.
Yes, I would adopt those. That's good reasons. All right, so we'll call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Contrary, that's carried.
I move that the public hearing with respect to this application be concluded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Contrary, that's carried.
Okay. Please note that the committee has made a recommendation on this matter that will now proceed to council. No further representations are permitted, and all persons registered for the public hearing will receive notice when the matter is to be considered by council.
Well, that went relatively quickly. So on we go then to our final item. Okay. And lastly, item 3 is a zoning agreement amendment to 200 Taché Avenue under file ZAA 4/2025. And let me just let in our delegate. We have a few people. We have none. Okay.
All participants in the Zoom meeting have been muted and will only be permitted to speak when called upon. So I'll turn this over to the planner now.
Thank you. The subject property is located on the southwest corner of Taché Avenue and Hanbury Street in the Norwood East neighborhood of the St. Boniface Ward. The site is 122 feet wide and 205 feet deep and 25,158 square feet in area. The site is currently occupied by an office, the College of Pharmacists of Manitoba. The site is accessed by an asphalt surface public lane with access from Kenny Street and Taché Avenue. Under the Complete Communities Direction Strategy 2.0, the site is within the Mature Communities Policy Area and Zone C2 Commercial Community District. The applicant is proposing to rehabilitate the existing building and establish a full-service medical clinic, including specialist services such as gastrointestinal and mental health, that integrates clinical research and pharmaceutical services on the subject property. The applicant wants to expand the permitted uses on the property to include additional uses not proposed at this time, but which may be considered in future, including commercial retail uses and multifamily residential uses. In 1992, a rezoning application was approved with a condition of a zoning agreement to restrict the permitted uses on the property to offices and professional office principal uses and related accessory uses, among other conditions, under DAZ 265, 1991. The Urban Planning Division recommends approval to appeal and replace the zoning agreement for the following reasons. The proposal will allow additional commercial uses along Taché Avenue with the established neighborhoods policy within the established neighborhoods policy area per the objective of the Complete Communities Direction Strategy 2.0. The zoning agreement amendment will enable the subject property to accommodate additional uses while still maintaining the residential character of the area. The recommended amendments include expanding the permitted uses in compliance with the permitted uses under the C2 district, while restricting a number of uses that may not be compatible with the surrounding residential neighborhood and which may prevent the conservation of the mature community character of the area in line with the CDS 2.0 policy for established neighborhoods. For example, restaurants with drive-in or drive-through facility, supermarkets, and auto-related uses. The amendments also include restricting the height of the multi-family residential building to 50 feet, applying a 45-degree angular plane measured 6 feet above grade at lot line along the east property line, abutting a lot with an R1, R2, or RMFS lot, and lastly, a director plan approval requirement. With that, I conclude my introduction.
I have questions. Can you just clarify, there are lots of analysis here talking about is there any residential component, or am I misreading here?
At this time, it's not proposed. It's only proposed for rehabilitation, the existing office building, and convert the use or change the use to clinic use, which is a rated commercial use, yeah.
Okay.
But in future, the applicant wants to expand the permitted uses.
Okay. Yeah, they said the infill guidelines were dead, but they aren't quite, because they pertain to five-plexes and low-rise. But there's reference here to the infill guidelines. But is that how is that applicable here?
Yeah, so the current zoning agreement restricts the height to 2.5 stories or 35 feet. Under C2 zoning district, multifamily residential can go up to 70 feet. So if we made the assumption, if we are rezoning to a multifamily, if it was not as of right under C2, I mean, we would look at infill guidelines and under the location criteria, and with the character of this area, the maximum infill guidelines would allow for 49 feet. So we capped, recommended capping the height to 50 feet.
Okay. Just trying to find where there's that reference to, okay, under the infill guidelines, height is limited to 45 feet for multifamily residential developments, but at this stage, this is not at this stage, there's no residential proposed.
No, at this time, there is no residential component.
Okay. My favorite aspect of the infill guidelines of recent weeks has been there's a requirement that if you have a parking lot, you have to have a buffer. But would we come back to that, a 10-foot, you've got to have 10 feet to the side, 10 feet to the back, and a bunch of opaque fencing. But is that the kind of thing we would catch if they, when could we impose something? We can't, we're not imposing that, we're not imposing a residential parking lot requirement on a building that isn't residential, but when would we impose something like that is in the infill guidelines?
That would be something that could be addressed at the plan approval stage.
Okay.
There is a condition that plans come back to, was it director or just community?
Director.
It's just director, but if the infill guidelines are still in effect, if and when the owner decides to pursue multifamily, we would be able to review the development against those guidelines.
Okay. Yeah, it's not statutory, it's guidelines, but it played into our recent fourplex debate for sure that to Mr. Clark's credit and Richard Mahe, they had that provision in there about once you get a certain number of units, you have to buffer the parking. Okay, good answers. Councilor Chambers, any questions for the administration?
No.
Okay. Nice paved lane here, always good to see, asphalt lane. Okay, then I guess we're on to delegations.
Correct.
Or
Here it is, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so first off, the applicant, Michelle Richards, speak. I'll have you for 5 minutes.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, councilors and administration. I'm here with Ian Dick, and he's going to pull up the presentation for us. Is it up? Thank you.
Yes. On Tim Mary's Road, yeah. Yeah, that looks rough right now. Red tear it back down. It's called Red Door.
While the presentation is being brought up, maybe I'll start if that's okay. Oh, there it
Yep,
is.
go ahead.
Prior to getting into the presentation, I just really want to thank the administration for their assistance in helping bring this to this meeting. It's an important meeting from a number of aspects for the applicant, and we really, really appreciate the ability to get it to this meeting and the work that has been done. We'll skip through the next one, please. Next one.
We're above St. Mary's Road in that shot, aren't we?
As you can see.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. The planner did explain where the site is, and we are here, as was communicated, to seek approval for zoning agreement amendment for the redevelopment of 200 Taché into a medical clinic and pharmacy. The next slide just provides an indication of where these lands are. And it's important to note that they are transitional for sure. So they're moving from that sort of high concentration of medical activities that are going on in that area and transitioning down towards a more lower intensity of use. The zoning on the site is C2, commercial community, which is important to note because there are parameters to curtail any types of higher density on the site without a rezoning. So that's something to keep in mind. And it certainly isn't the intent, or sorry, residential. It certainly is not the intention of the owner to seek residential development. They're really focused on establishing the medical clinic. Next one, please. So the development vision is to adaptively reuse the former College of Pharmacists site for a comprehensive healthcare facility that integrates clinical, research, and pharmaceutical services. And we'll keep going. The operations of the clinic will really be contained to the building itself in the existing parking. So the clinic will use the existing on-site parking of 24 stalls. The clinic will operate under normal kind of clinic hours, being 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And there's about 12 individuals that will be expected to be working in the clinic. The site itself is important also because it is accessible. So there is ample transit, cycling, and pedestrian routes. In terms of the zoning considerations, as was explained, there are restrictions in the current zoning agreement that would not allow for a medical clinic on the site. So we are here to seek that change. And I really like the way that the planning group has put together a solution here. And what they're proposing is recommending discharging the current zoning agreement in its entirety and entering into a new agreement with the following restrictions. And those restrictions are listed there. And certainly I don't think that there's any opposition at all to any of that. And I am running out of time, so I will keep going.
We got no one in the gallery and 2 hours left, so
Okay.
you'll be fine.
Okay, thank you. So in terms of desired land uses, as has been explained, at this time it is medical uses and the clinic and pharmacy. And certainly if there's any future intention to redevelop the site as something else, there would have to be a development approval process that would be associated with that. And this slide just mimics or aligns with what the administration identified as the planning rationale. So it certainly does fit with our Winnipeg in promoting a complete and healthy community. It supports job creation and local economic development, and it encourages investment in mature neighborhoods.
You need more time?
Yeah, just 2 minutes will be fine. Thank you.
Extension, 2 minutes?
All those in favor? Aye. Contrary? That's carried.
So one of the things that we did do, which we felt was quite important, is we did engage. So we did have the opportunity to get out into the community through the use of a flyer drop. So 4,000 flyers were mailed out, and there was 42 responses. And certainly there was broad support for revitalizing the site, and there was no major opposition cited at all. And with that, I'll say thank you and take any questions.
So if you can go back to the slide that showed the radius. Oh, yeah, there. So I'm just going to get a little closer so I can see. There is along on St. Mary's here, another, I'm just wondering how close it is. There's another, the old 7-Eleven that was on St. Mary's. They're actually putting in every time I drive by, Red Door Medical. So 2 doctors' offices within the same circumference of that radius there?
Yeah, I think that. Ooh, geez.
I could answer that question.
Hey,
Wait. Who is this?
This will be,
Sorry. This is one of the this is the owner for the project.
sorry.
He can answer when it's his turn.
Yeah, we'll just, Dr.
Oh, I
Lee, we'll just-
apologize.
Yeah. So I think you're going to see more of an intention to aggregate medical uses within that medical community. And that neighborhood lends itself very nicely to that, just because of the proximity to St. Boniface and those medical facilities.
Okay.
And the other thing to note is that this clinic will include specialists. So there is, again, some desirability to be close to St. Boniface.
So a specialist will be in that building?
Correct.
Perfect, thank you.
You back onto, there's a field there, that's the DSFM school across
Yep.
the place. I'm just trying to get oriented here. And this isn't the piece, there's a, yes, Precious Sign, couldn't get the name, thanks. There's a store that's got a running shop in it, some other retail uses. That's the next block further toward St. Mary's, though, isn't it? You're not that first block.
Correct.
Yeah, because that increasing traffic there might get a little tricky with, it's kind of a blind five-way intersection and people turning, but this is far enough down that shouldn't matter. All right.
Yeah, and they've even got a drive aisle into the facility here, too.
All right. Any issues with the administration report?
From our perspective, no, not at all.
Okay. Okay. And so we take off the caveat to the zoning, I guess it's a zoning amendment agreement. And is anything new? Are you restricted? Is the proposal to restrict uses at all under the new requirement?
Yeah, so the way that the planners are recommending the agreement be structured is that this agreement would be discharged and replaced with a new agreement that does have certain restrictions that we are in support of.
Okay. That's the restaurants, pawn shops.
Supermarket, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Any further questions? No, I'm okay. On we go.
okay. Next in support, we have Ian Dick, if you'd like to speak a few words. Okay. Next, we have Yusuf Rita, who we do have on Zoom. I'll just invite you now to unmute, and you'll have 5 minutes, as well as turn on your camera, please.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, no, I just wanted to just add on to that question regarding the Red Door Clinic there. That's actually a colleague of mine. It's Dr. Shahadi, who's actually going to be opening up that family medicine clinic. And it would actually be complementary to this center, as that would be a source for referral basis for this clinic, as we are looking at starting sort of a brain gut center, which would be the first in Winnipeg, that would be niche for gastrointestinal issues for the stomach. And we would have psychotherapists there and dietitians and support groups, which would provide, further need for this in Manitoba, as there's no center in Winnipeg that offers that. So I think it would be a good complementary medical facility there for Dr. Shahadi and the other clinics nearby. But yeah, that's all I would add on. Like everything else, I'm happy what Michelle has presented.
Okay, thank you. I don't think there are any questions. Mr. Clerk.
Okay, next up, we have Christopher Schneider in support of the item, who I don't believe is present. Okay, next up, we have Stephen Sherlock, and he'll be joining on Zoom. Stephen, if you could just unmute as well as turn on your video, please.
Hi there.
Hi.
Hello?
Yeah, I wasn't planning on presenting anything, just here in support of everything for Dr. Reda.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Okay, and that's all for registered in support. Just checking the gallery, there is no one present in support. So now for opposition, we have no one registered in opposition, as well as no one present in the gallery to note. And lastly, for information, similarly, there's no one registered in for information and no one present in the gallery to speak for information. So now, Mr. Chair, you're welcome to ask Winnipeg Public Service.
Thanks. I mean, there clearly was a restriction in 92. It looks like this got rezoned, but we're still keeping some restrictions on, right? We're freeing this up to allow a medical clinic, but not video rental stores or pawn shops or whatever it is, this list.
Or adult stores. Okay. Do they have the opportunity for a rebuttal?
Just trying to think if there's anything else. And from the public amendment perspective, there's no, anything in dispute here with the applicant, or? No?
We have no issues.
Okay. Okay. And should it ever convert to residential, it might not need a rezoning, but it would still need plan approval. So
Correct.
you could catch all the traffic or the parking lot buffering details there. Great, okay. Chance for rebuttal then?
Chance for rebuttal from the applicant? All good? Okay, and just now to motions.
I move that the report of the Winnipeg Public Service be taken as read.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary, that's carried.
I move that the receipt of the public representation be concluded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary, that's carried.
I move that the recommendation of the Winnipeg Public Service be concurred in and forward to the Executive Policy Committee via the priority rezoning process.
And supporting reasons?
My supporting reasons, I think this is a great fit for the area. Obviously, we need more medical clinics in our city. This is accomplishing that. Its use and purpose is consistent with what its former use was to some degree. Again, I think this would be a great addition to the neighborhood.
Yes, well said. If it was a block further toward St. Mary's, I think we'd probably have more questions about parking and traffic and the tricky, weird intersection that comes in there with Enfield, but this is far enough on that those issues aren't going to affect it. So, good. Support Councillor Chambers' supporting reasons. So, I'll call the question then. All those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary, that's carried.
I move that the public hearing with respect to this application be concluded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary, that's carried.
Okay. Please note that the committee has made a recommendation on this matter that will now proceed to council. No further representations are permitted, and all persons registered for the public hearing will receive notice when the matter is to be considered by council.
Okay, I move
you.
adjournment.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. I'd like to keep that for your archives, I'm sure, Marcus.
Oh, I got mine.